Chapter 43-49. Desolate Dragon Sand Explosive Burial was surmounting city's Vice City Lord's own power. He was all too familiar with this. At this very moment, under his heavy injuries, he really could not quite withstand this burst of power. The main thing was that when all of it poured down together, his thick Earth Divine shield did not have time to absorb it either. Even if he wanted to turn around and escape, he could not do it. The power of Desolate Dragon Sand Explosive Burial entangled him tightly, making him unable to break through. This situation made the eyes of the Phoenix Demon King who hurried over swiftly light up. This Phoenix Demon King was a ruthless character too. Without any hesitation at all, the fiery red explosive flame demonic technique that filled the skies was cast towards surmounting city's Vice City Lord, sweeping over. The fiery red color that filled the skies swept out explosively in all directions. The horrifying fire attribute power instantly enveloped the entire surmounting city's colossal dragon body. His earthen yellow divine dragon body was faintly discernible in this lush flame. Under the endless burning, it became increasingly charred black. The fat Vice City Lord's shrill screams transmitted out continuously. He was trapped by his own power and could not escape. Then the Phoenix Demon King who heavily injured him caught up and unleashed a one-hit kill. Before long, surmounting city's Vice City Lord already could not hold on anymore. He wanted to struggle and escape the burning of those flames that filled the skies. Unfortunately, he had just popped his head out when Ran's wind death tornado swept him back again. At this time, he was already heavily injured until he could not even resist Ran's wind death tornado anymore. He was burned alive in the flames just like that, all the way until he died. During this process, the Immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor powerhouse who was currently rushing over from afar simply had his eyes popping out. He completely did not expect that the Phoenix Demon King and two dragon martial artists who did not look strong actually dared to kill surmounting city's Vice City Lord in front of him. He did not dare to imagine that this kind of thing would happen in front of him. But this really happened. Furthermore, Kong Shin-mu, the Phoenix Demon King, as well as Ran, the three of them all turned around and planned on escaping after killing that surmounting city's Vice City Lord. The Immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor was simply about to be angered to death. He was far away, so he didn't see how the Vice City Lord was killed. However, he felt that it was definitely because of the Phoenix Demon King. However, he wasn't interested in the Phoenix Demon King. Instead, he headed straight for Kong Shin-mu and Ran. Of course, he also wanted to capture Kong Shin-mu and Ran alive because of his superior's order. With his strength, as long as he could get within a certain range of Kong Shin-mu, it would be a piece of cake to capture Kong Shin-mu alive. Therefore, when he saw that Kong Shin-mu was about to escape, he immediately sneered. The entire body of the Dragon Emperor, with a black stream of light, chased after Kong Shin-mu at top speed. After killing that surmounting city's Vice City Lord and seeing his charred corpse that lost all signs of life falling down the dense forest below, Kong Shin-mu brought Ran and turned around to run. Of course, the Phoenix Demon King also turned around and ran. It was just that both parties fled in different directions. The direction the Phoenix Demon King fled in was the direction where the demon sovereign powerhouses of the Boundary Forest were. Earlier, when it decided to chase after the surmounting city's Vice City Lord in the end, it already notified the nearest demon sovereign powerhouse. Therefore, if it rushed over now, it should be able to rendezvous with the other party in time. But what it did not expect was that the Immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor actually did not chase after it, but chased after Kong Shin-mu and Ran whom it did not take seriously. These two dragon martial artists seemed to have been chased back to the Boundary Forest previously. The Phoenix Demon King could not quite understand. It felt that it killed the surmounting city's Vice City Lord. The other party's backer would definitely come to hunt it down, right? At this moment, that Dragon Emperor actually did not chase after it but went to chase after those two puny little dragon martial artists that did not pose any threat. Of course, the Phoenix Demon King was also astonished because of Kong Shin-mu's combat strength. But just based on this combat strength, there was no need to make the Dragon Emperor attach so much importance either. Could it be that these two puny little dragon martial artists had some special identity? This did not have much to do with the Phoenix Demon King anymore. It left swiftly, lest that Dragon Emperor only pretended to chase after the dragon martial artists and suddenly turned around to chase after it. Then it would be finished. Caught up. As Kong Shin-mu and Ran turned around and flew swiftly, they observed that Immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor's movements and discovered that the other party actually chased after them. Wind Death Tornado Break. Ran Ran executed this source dragon martial technique desperately. But sadly, firstly, her cultivation realm was too low. Her divine dragon blood essence grade was also only Dragon King. Secondly, the time she cultivated this dragon martial technique was not long. The effects were not good. No matter how hard she tried, that wind death tornado break that erupted was unable to stop that immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor in the slightest. The distance between both parties was currently shrinking rapidly. So fast. Even Kong Shinmu was somewhat shocked by this Dragon Emperor's speed. Logically speaking, even the Flame Dragon Emperor did not have such terrifying speed. But this was different from the type of divine dragon blood essence that every dragon martial artist awakened. Some divine dragons were strong in defense, some divine dragons were strong in attack, and some were fast in speed. Kong Shinmu did not know whether this immortal Grove Dragon Country's Dragon Emperor powerhouse's attack was strong or not, or whether his defense was strong or not. But he knew that this guy's speed was absolutely the fastest kind. Even if Kong Shinmu coordinated with Ran Ran's wind death tornado break, the other party's speed was more than twice as fast as theirs. The distance that was originally far away at the horizon turned into a streak of black flowing light very quickly and arrived in Kong Shinmu's and the others' field of vision. What they saw was a divine dragon that was completely gray in color. Its body was 10,000 feet long, massive and vast as it approached. Its aura was vast and mighty. A hint of indifference and ferocity seeped through the divine dragon's pupils. He wanted to capture Kong Shinmu and Ran Ran alive. No way. Too fast, too strong. At this rate, we'll definitely be caught up. Kong Shinmu's face fell. Right now, it was him and Ran Ran fleeing together. The two of them were both Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy's students. Hence, they still had trump cards. Looks like it was already time for them to bring out their trump cards now. Ran Ran is still relatively weak right now. If she encounters danger, she can only rely on Emperor Shi's seal to protect her life. Therefore, I must do it this time. Kong Shinmu's face revealed a bitter smile. He did not expect that he just parted ways with that beautiful female dean from Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy not long ago. Now, he was going to see the other party again. Furthermore, it was even to ask for help from the other party, making the other party come to resolve the predicament. If not for being driven into a corner, Kong Shinmu absolutely would not trouble others. But now, that immortal Grove Dragon Country's dragon martial artist was going to catch up right away. Since it's someone of Zhua Xiaofeng's level who wants to capture me, then you guys who run errands better be prepared to contend with a powerhouse of Zhua Xiaofeng's level. Kong Shinmu carried such a mentality and gave a cold laugh. The Emperor Shi's seal on his wrist directly lit up. Chapter 4350. When this graceful figure in red appeared, the entire space around them seemed to have come to a standstill. Even though she did not transform into her divine dragon form, just her peerless and graceful figure alone had already brought with it an incomparably powerful aura, and she had the entire situation under her control. She was the current dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Kong Shinmu did not know her name. He had asked her before, but she did not tell him and only asked him to call her Dean. Dean. At this moment, seeing that she had appeared because of his call for help, Kong Shinmu bowed to her respectfully. I had expected that you would be in danger. The beautiful Dean in red smiled gently and looked around with her beautiful face. She was a little surprised. I didn't expect you to be able to do this. Kong Shinmu did not know what she meant, so he did not reply. Did she see through something with just one look? Just now, Kong Shinmu and Ran Ran did not seem to have done anything. They only killed some dragon martial artists from Yuwu City. The Sky Dragon and Shang Dragon were nothing. Only the deputy city lord, who was slightly stronger, died nearby. However, it was mainly the Phoenix Demon King who killed them. At most, Kong Shinmu played the role of preventing them from escaping. Of course, these things were very common in Kong Shinmu's eyes. However, in the eyes of others, it was quite unimaginable. A young dragon martial artist who was only at the 5th tier of the Nirvana realm could actually kill so many powerful dragon martial artists in the Rebirth realm. Even if they were only Sky Dragons or Shang Dragons, it was still very shocking. That's right. The beautiful Dean glanced at Kong Shinmu and said with a smile, I thought that with Zhua Xiaofeng's character, he would definitely not bide his time. As expected, this guy spread the news to the entire Donghuang Yonggu College. In that case, your hometown, the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty, is very likely under the surveillance of Zhuo Xiaofeng's people. It is too dangerous for you to go back alone. Do you have any reason to go back? The beautiful Dean calmly asked Kong Xinmu. She did not place that immortal Grove Dragon Empire's Dragon Emperor not far away in her sights at all. This? Kong Xinmu hesitated. Even in front of the beautiful Dean, he did not know if he should tell her about the Black Dragon's consciousness. After all, this matter was far too shocking. Once he told her, it was very likely that he would be consigned to eternal damnation. I can't say for now, but I have a reason to go back, Kong Xinmu said decisively. The beautiful Dean nodded after hearing his words. Since you've said so, I'll accompany you. Even if Zhuo Xiaofeng appears personally, he won't be able to hurt you at all. With her saying this, Kong Xinmu was naturally relieved. Unfortunately, he really couldn't tell her about the Black Dragon's consciousness. He could only apologize to the beautiful director in his heart. Immediately after, the beautiful director directly raised her head and looked at the immortal Grove Dragon Empire's Dragon Emperor, who caught up. At this very moment, that guy, as the Dragon Emperor, had already thoroughly stopped in his tracks. He had never seen before such a beautiful woman. But the horrifying aura exuding off this woman's body made his entire person hard to move. That unparalleled tyrannical aura made his entire divine dragon body break out in cold sweat. Too strong. What kind of powerhouse was that? In this world, there was actually still such a powerhouse existing? Even a Dragon Emperor-level powerhouse might not know the truth of the Dragon Martial Continent. They only knew that above their Dragon Emperor, there were definitely even stronger existences. But they did not know what kind of methods these stronger existences existed in, and where they were normally. This was this immortal Grove Dragon Empire's Dragon Emperor's first time seeing a super divine dragon in this lifetime. Super dragon. The red-clothed beautiful director only gave that Dragon Emperor a glance, and it made that Dragon Emperor involuntarily remove his divine dragon form, turning into the image of a middle-aged man wearing a grey robe, his head covered in cold sweat, cupping his fists and bowing respectfully towards her. This senior, this lowly one has offended you. I'll withdraw right away. Withdraw right away. I hope that you don't mind. He looked at the red-clothed beautiful director and Kong Xinmu's conversation, and knew that this peerlessly beautiful woman was the helper that Kong Xinmu, this little brat, found. The higher-ups requested him to capture Kong Xinmu, but did not say what kind of opponent he would encounter. With this peerlessly beautiful woman around, who could still capture Kong Xinmu? Forcefully making a move was simply courting death. He could only admit defeat first and go back to report the situation to the higher-ups. Although he was one of the immortal Grove Dragon Empire's 3 great Dragon Emperors, he was also just the Western Borders Dragon Emperor. The entire immortal Grove Dragon Empire was mainly still ruled by the immortal Grove Dragon Emperor. His strength was also much stronger than him, this Western Borders Dragon Emperor. The news of capturing Kong Xinmu was precisely the mission issued by the immortal Grove Dragon Emperor. Therefore, his experience this time definitely had to go back and report to the immortal Grove Dragon Emperor. As for who the immortal Grove Dragon Emperor was responsible for, this Western Borders Dragon Emperor did not know. This Western Borders Dragon Emperor thought beautifully. He felt that if he apologized directly and then withdrew, the other party should not make a move against him. After all, he did not do anything, right? It was also chasing after Kong Xinmu for a period of time. But what he did not expect was that the red-clothed beautiful woman just raised her hand. A burst of boundless bright red flames immediately burned up from the void, directly igniting that Western Borders Dragon Emperor. The Western Borders Dragon Emperor was greatly alarmed and immediately transforming into a divine dragon's body anew. All of the strength in his body condensed together, displaying a source defensive dragon martial technique. He wanted to extinguish the flames on his body, but alas, he discovered very quickly that that bright red flame was not what he could extinguish at all. It even spread all over his body very quickly. What kind of power is this? How could the power of a super divine dragon be what he, a rank 3 Dragon Emperor, could imagine? This Western Borders Dragon Emperor had only just stepped into the Dragon Emperor level of divine dragon blood essence not long ago. This kind of divine dragon blood essence grade was very common even in the Dragon Martial Academy. Any random Dragon Emperor could crush him. How could he possibly survive under the beautiful female Dean's hands? She did not talk nonsense with the other party at all, directly making a move, virtually instantly killing the other party. Under the circumstances where her cultivation realm was not lower than the other parties, The grade of her divine dragon blood essence surpassed the other party by far too much. Just like there was a 5th level Nirvana Tribulation Realm heavenly dragon right now, even if a holy dragon appeared in front of Kong Shinmu could also instantly kill the other party, the same logic. Let's go. Seeing that Western Border's Dragon Emperor directly burned by the bright red flames until not even bones remained. Only then did the beautiful female Dean bring Kong Shinmu, planning to leave. And at this very moment, in the entire stretch of boundary dividing forest, the demonic beasts watching this scene all had shocked faces, cold sweat pouring profusely. Chapter 43-51. The beautiful red-clothed Dean led Kong Shinmu and ran out of the dividing forest. Then, she spent 6 hours outside the dividing forest to build a one-time space-time formation. This space-time formation could directly lead to the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty that Kong Shinmu wanted to go to. I'll go with you. After you've settled your matters, I'll bring you back. The beautiful Dean pursed her lips and made arrangements for Kong Shinmu and ran. Of course, Kong Shinmu wouldn't refuse. She was helping him and also worried about him. She was afraid that he would encounter some danger that Xueqi had arranged for him in the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. If it wasn't necessary, Kong Shinmu wouldn't bother others like this. Unfortunately, due to the existence of the Black Dragon's consciousness and the fact that he had swallowed too much flesh and blood essence previously, he had fainted. This matter made him more and more afraid of the Black Dragon's consciousness. It seemed that as he became stronger, the Black Dragon's consciousness would awaken more easily. No matter what, Kong Shinmu couldn't give up on becoming stronger. If he wanted to get rid of the Black Dragon's consciousness, he could only improve his strength and come into contact with matters of a higher level. Then, he would see if those seniors had a way to solve it. For example, if he met the Supreme Divine Dragon, the other party might know something about the Black Dragon's consciousness. No matter what, Kong Shinmu didn't plan to tell the beautiful Dean of Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy. He felt that the existence of the Black Dragon's consciousness was beyond the beautiful Dean's level. It would be useless to tell her. It might even expose some dangerous signals. Then, Kong Shinmu and Ran were led by the beautiful Dean through the space-time formation and returned to the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. The Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty hadn't returned for a long time. When Kong Shinmu opened his eyes, he found himself in the capital of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty, Fiery Dragon City. Compared to the capital cities of the Dragon Emperor's countries that he had been to during this period of time, Yen Dragon City really wasn't that magnificent. However, when Kong Shinmu arrived here, he felt a sense of familiarity. After all, it was in this Fire Dragon City's Fire Dragon Sacred Tower that he was able to obtain the East Emperor Seal and gain the right to enter Donghuang Yonggu College. Now, although he was already a student of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, he still missed Emperor Yen very much. His clansmen were here. Here there were his friends. And his elders. Dragon Emperor Yen, the 12 Flame Dragon Envoys. Their strength, in Kong Shinmu's eyes, wasn't that strong anymore. However, in Kong Shinmu's eyes, they were still his seniors. Dragon King Ming, Dragon King K, and the other 12 Dragon King experts, Kong Shinmu still did not have the strength to defeat them. They were all high-level Reincarnation Tribulation's realm experts. I wonder if Xueqi has sent anyone to Emperor Yan's Dragon Emperor Yen, Kong Shinmu thought to himself. He was a little worried. After all, Emperor Yan's Dragon Emperor Yen was the place that he treasured the most. Whatever you want to do it now. Remember, don't be too high profile. I will protect you in the dark. Finish it as soon as possible. After the beautiful Dean brought them to Yen Dragon City, her figure disappeared into the void without any warning. Only Kong Shinmu and Ran were left standing outside the city walls of Yen Dragon City. They looked up at the towering city walls of Yen Dragon City. Let's go in and take a look. Kong Shinmu didn't know if Dragon Emperor Yen was around. Now that he had returned, he had to meet the elders if he had the chance. They were quite low-key. There was even the centipede ink beast hiding their aura in the dark, so that their presence was minimized. The dark aura covered their faces, making their faces vaguely visible. Even those who were familiar with them in the past might not be able to recognize them now. When they went to the city gate of Yen Dragon City, they found that the number of dragon martial artists guarding the city gate seemed to have increased. What's going on? Kong Shinmu keenly sensed that something was wrong. Along the way, Many people walked on the official road with them and then went to the city gate of Yen Dragon City. On the way, he heard the caravan that was going the same way as them seemed to be talking about something. It seemed to be about Dragon Emperor Yen being taken away. Flame Dragon Emperor Yen was taken away? Kong Shinmu's heart sank. If this was true, then it meant that Xueqi had definitely taken action against Dragon Emperor Yen. He couldn't wait to know what the situation was like. But he didn't show it on the surface. He and Ran pretended to be two young dragon martial artists and followed the caravan to Yen Dragon City. When they passed through the city gate, the guards did a little check and let them go. The check was stricter than usual, but Kong Shinmu didn't know what it was. When he entered Yen Dragon City and walked on the main street, he saw a wanted order on the wall of a building along the way. Wanted order. Kong Shinmu. It turned out to be a wanted order for him. There seemed to be such a wanted order posted inside and outside Yen Dragon City, but there was only one wanted order. Ran was not on it. No wonder the check was so strict. Did they think that I would come back, so they made arrangements here in advance? If Kong Shinmu were to bring Ran back by himself, it was needless to say how many difficulties he would have to face along the way. Even if he reached the Dragon Emperor Yen dynasty, he probably wouldn't be able to break through to the 6th stage of Nirvana Tribulation Realm with peace of mind. The current situation of the Dragon Emperor Yen dynasty was probably not good. He was even worried about the situation of the Jiang clan and the Shi clan residents in Dragon Prison City. Let's see what the situation of Yen Dragon City is like now. If Dragon Emperor Yen was really taken away, then who is in charge of Yen Dragon City now? Is it the 12 Flame Dragon envoys? It shouldn't be. They wouldn't put up so many wanted orders for me. Kong Shinmu trusted the Flame Dragon envoys. Unless they were forced, they wouldn't do so. The most likely possibility was that Yen Dragon City was already controlled by someone else. The entire Yen Dragon Emperor Yen dynasty was likely to have fallen into someone else's hands. This person was at least an expert at the level of the Dragon Emperor. He was sent by Xueqi. Kong Shinmu didn't know who it was. He had to enter Yen Dragon City to investigate. If not for the Nightmare Ink Beast helping me conceal my appearance, I'm afraid it would have been difficult for me to enter the city. I would have been exposed at the city gates. Kong Shinmu was somewhat gratified. The Nightmare Ink Beast had followed him all the way. Although it rarely showed itself, it had helped him a lot. To be honest, Jiang Shenwu felt that he hadn't done anything to help the Obsidian Ink Beast, yet this little fellow had helped him so much. This made him feel a little apologetic. At that time, he didn't mean to save the Obsidian Ink Beast. Chapter 4352. Kong Shinmu and Ran entered the fiery dragon city without a sound. It was almost as if they did not exist. The concealment ability of the Nightmare Ink Beast was not only able to hide itself from others, but it could also hide the aura of those it was willing to help. Now that Kong Shinmu and Ran were walking on the streets, no one knew that they had the divine dragon's blood essence that was at the same level as the Dragon King. If not for the help of the Nightmare Ink Beast, such a young Dragon King would have caused a commotion. Now that he was wanted by the entire city, he naturally had nowhere to hide. Fortunately, with the existence of the Nightmare Ink Beast, Kong Shinmu and Ran would not attract anyone's attention. Kong Shinmu led Ran all the way to the city lord's mansion. Along the way, he paid attention to the conversations of the passers-by. It seems like the Yen Dragon Emperor has been taken away. The person in charge of the fiery dragon city now is a Dragon King. He seems to be at the 3rd stage of the rebirth tribulation state. He is a young Dragon King. This Dragon King is the crown prince of the neighboring northern Chill Dragon country. It is said that there is a big shot behind him. The northern Chill Dragon country had tried to invade the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty many times. Kong Shinmu had a deep impression of the northern Chill Dragon country. The crown prince of the northern Chill Dragon country has come to take charge of the capital of the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty? Xueqi, you are too much. I wonder how the 12 Flame Dragon envoys are doing. Kong Shinmu gritted his teeth. He could easily kill the crown prince of the northern Chill Dragon country. The Dragon King, who was at the 3rd stage of the rebirth tribulation state, sounded strong, but he was at the limit of what Kong Shinmu could deal with. The other party was definitely not young, probably in his 30s or 40s. Dragon King, who had reached the 3rd stage of the rebirth tribulation at such a young age, was already very impressive. However, it was nothing to Kong Shin-mu, who was qualified to enter the Dragon Martial Academy. If Kong Shin-mu was given another 10 years, he would be able to leave this guy far behind. Even now, if Kong Shin-mu were to fight him head-on, he would not be afraid of him. Furthermore, the Northern Chill Dragon Country's crown prince was probably just a cameo. It was completely arranged by Xueqi. Even if Kong Shin-mu killed him, there wouldn't be any serious consequences. Now, what Kong Shin-mu was most worried about was that his friends in the Yen Dragon Emperor's court had been captured by Xueqi. If that happened, he would have to hold back for fear of breaking the vases, and it would be inconvenient for him to do anything. However, dealing with a prince of the Northern Chill Dragon Country was not a problem. The 12 Flame Dragon envoys have all been taken away. One of the Flame Dragon envoys seemed to have been killed in the sky above Fiery Dragon City in order to resist the invaders. Not long after, Kong Shin-mu's heart sank when he heard the news again. This was the worst news he had heard since he returned. Each of the 12 Flame Dragon envoys was Kong Shin-mu's senior. Although he had never met a few of them, they were all respectable seniors in his heart. However now, one of the Flame Dragon envoys had been killed in the sky above Fiery Dragon City in order to resist the invaders. The news that Kong Shin-mu heard came from a restaurant. The voice said that the Flame Dragon envoy had been cut into 81 pieces, and his blood had splattered all over Fiery Dragon City. The person who had killed him was the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country. The Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country. Of course, the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country was not the most powerful person who had come. It was said that there was also a black-robed dragon martial artist. It was that black-robed dragon martial artist who had suppressed the Flame Dragon Emperor and taken him away. Without the Flame Dragon Emperor, the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country could do whatever he wanted. Even the 12 Flame Dragon envoys could only watch him invade the Flame Dragon Emperor's empire. All of this is because of me. Xueqi wanted to deal with me. That's why you brought the Yen Dragon Emperor away to make me hesitate. But he sent people to take the Flame Dragon Emperor away, which caused the entire Flame Dragon Emperor's empire to become unstable. Some Flame Dragon envoys even died because of this. The other 11 Flame Dragon envoys were also taken away by that black-robed dragon martial artist. In other words, the current Flame Dragon Emperor's empire is completely controlled by the Northern Chill Dragon Country. Then, the Shi clan mansion and the Jiang clan in Dragon Prison City will not be in a good situation. Kong Shin-mu was very anxious. Ran followed Kong Shin-mu and could see his anxiety. Unfortunately, there was nothing she could do to help. Kong Shin-mu glanced at her and an idea flashed through his mind. He could let her go to the Jiang clan and Dragon Prison City to see if anything had happened. But on second thought, the Dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy could only protect one person at a time. If Ran were to be separated from him and something happened to her, it would be really difficult to deal with. Let's go to the City Lord's mansion. Kong Shin-mu's face darkened. He brought Ran and headed to the City Lord's mansion. The Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country had already left the Flame Dragon City. He was preparing to return to the Northern Chill Dragon Country and bring his army to the Sealing Dragon Abyss. He planned to reoccupy the Sealing Dragon Abyss. Although the Dragon Emperor and the 12 Flame Dragon envoys had been taken away, the Sealing Dragon Abyss was still guarded by the Flame Dragon Army. Without the Dragon Emperor of the Flame Dragon Country's order, they would definitely not leave. Therefore, even though the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon City was in control, he still needed to go to the Sealing Dragon Abyss and destroy the Flame Dragon Army. Kong Shin-mu had received the news that the Dragon Emperor had been taken away the day before yesterday. According to the time, the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country's movements were not that fast. As long as the Dragon Emperor was not in the Flame Dragon City, everything would be fine. Kong Shin-mu wanted to kill the Northern Chill Dragon Crown Prince. At this moment, the entire city was putting out a wanted poster for Kong Shin-mu. Many restaurants were filled with complaints about Kong Shin-mu, saying that he was ungrateful. The Dragon Emperor had taken such good care of him, but he had caused trouble outside and implicated the Dragon Emperor. Even under such circumstances, he did not come back to take a look. Those voices said that as long as Kong Shin-mu took the initiative to appear, the black-robed dragon martial artist would release the Dragon Emperor and the 11 Flame Dragon envoys, so that the Yen Dragon Emperor's court could return to normal. However, Kong Shin-mu did not believe this at all. What he wanted was to use his fists to crush all the opponents in front of him. He had the super divine dragon dean of Emperor Xi's Dragon Martial Academy behind him, so he was not afraid at all. Moreover, even if he encountered an ordinary opponent, the beautiful female dean would not make a move. He had his own trump card. In the vicinity of the Yen Dragon Emperor's court, he could use the dragon scale to summon the heaven-opening demon dragon to help. With so many trump cards, Kong Shinmu went straight to the Yen Dragon City Lord's residence. He led Ran and stepped on the stairs leading to the Yen Dragon City Lord's residence. On the stairs, there was a dragon martial artist guard from the northern Chill Dragon country at regular intervals. They all had heavenly dragon divine dragon blood essence, and each of them was at least a first-stage rebirth tribulation realm expert. When they saw Kong Shinmu and Ran's figure step on the stairs, they could not help but be on guard. They felt that Kong Shinmu's figure was somewhat familiar. However, they could not remember where they had seen it before. This was the hidden effect of the obsidian ink beast. "Stop, tell me your name." The two northern Chill Dragon country dragon martial artists at the front shouted. They were the captain of the guards and had a cultivation of the third stage rebirth tribulation realm. Chapter 43-53. "Stop, tell me your name." The two dragon warriors from the northern Chill Dragon country immediately stepped forward and glared at Kong Shinmu and Ran. They were somewhat familiar with Kong Shinmu, but they couldn't recall who he was. They simply didn't want to think about it anymore. After all, they were just two teenagers. However, they seemed to be quite interested in Ran. It was rare to see such a beautiful girl. However, what welcomed them was not Kong Shinmu's reply. Instead, a dragon's roar rang out in an instant. The devouring power instantly erupted and directly enveloped the two dragon martial artists from the northern Chill Dragon country. Never in their wildest dreams did they expect that a young man would dare to attack them in front of everyone in the city governor's mansion. He stood rooted to the ground. He wanted to transform into a dragon to block Kong Shinmu's attack, but it was too late. Void Dragon raises the heavens. Right in the sky above the Flame Dragon City Lord residence, 12 pitch-black divine dragon phantoms instantly formed. Immediately afterwards, 12 beams of light descended from the sky. In an instant, each pitch-black beam of light blasted towards the dragon martial artist guarding the stairs of the City Lord mansion. They were all heavenly dragon-level divine dragon blood essence. Regardless of whether they were at the first or third stage of the rebirth realm, none of them could stop the joint attack of Kong Shinmu and Ran. Both sides immediately used their origin dragon martial techniques. They had already cultivated this void dragon sky-raising break to the peak. At this moment, in front of an ordinary dragon martial artist, it was simply a crushing defeat. The 12 dragon martial artists in front did not even have the time to react before they were completely annihilated by their attacks, leaving not even their bones behind. Such an offensive almost shook the entire city. Flame Dragon City, which was originally in a state of tranquility, suddenly burst into an uproar. Originally, the peace was only due to the high pressure after the northern Chill Dragon country occupied the Fire Dragon City. But now, someone was causing trouble in the City Lord's mansion, which immediately attracted the attention of the dragon warriors of the Fire Dragon Emperor's court. They had long been hoping that someone would appear and save the Yen Dragon City from its decline. If anything, it would be the entire Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. Originally, they had thought that this was an extravagant hope, but now it seemed that such a person had appeared. With just one move, he had killed all 12 of the northern Chill Dragon country's elite guards, dragon martial artists. With this kind of strength, even if it couldn't be compared to the Dragon Emperor, it was still the strongest among the Dragon King. Who had come? Around the City Lord's mansion, countless pairs of eyes stared at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion from the countless restaurants and inns. They saw 2 black dragons that were more than 500 meters long erupting with all their strength, attacking the elite dragon martial artists guarding the entrance of the City Lord's mansion. These elite guards were all from the northern Chill Dragon country. They were responsible for protecting the entire City Lord's mansion. Right now, the security of Fiery Dragon City was also managed by these guards from northern Chill Dragon country. It could be said that all the dragon martial artists in Fiery Dragon City lived in a high-pressure state. Although the elite dragon martial artists of the northern Chill Dragon country did not burn, kill, or loot when they came to Fiery Dragon City, they had come to the enemy's capital with great difficulty. Naturally, they had to gain some benefits. Therefore, as long as the dragon martial artists in Fiery Dragon City did anything inappropriate, they would be punished and have to hand over a large amount of money, making these dragon martial artists suffer unspeakably. Now, in every corner of Fiery Dragon City, there were many dragon martial artists of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty being punished. However, as the Void Dragon sky-raising break erupted from the City Lord's mansion, everyone's attention in the city was drawn over. The elite dragon martial artists of the Northern Chill Dragon Country surrounded the City Lord's mansion. No matter who dared to cause trouble, they would not let them leave the City Lord's mansion alive. As for the other dragon martial artists of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty, they were all looking at the City Lord's mansion with excitement. Some people were more pessimistic. They looked from afar and sighed, feeling that the troublemakers would definitely not have a good ending, however. Soon, as more and more dragon martial artists of the Northern Chill Dragon Country rushed to the City Lord's mansion, the 12 black dragon shadows condensed above the City Lord's mansion. Pitch-black dragon breath beams constantly swept towards the Sky Dragon elite guards who had transformed into dragons. These elite dragon martial artists all had heavenly dragon divine dragon blood essence, and all of them were at the beginner stage of the Samsara realm. They could not withstand Kong Shinmu and Ran Ran's attacks at all. The dragons roared angrily, and the 2 black dragons killed a bloody path through the encirclement of many Sky Dragon guards. They were getting closer and closer to the City Lord's mansion. Kong Shinmu's divine dragon eyes seemed to be burning with endless anger. Elite Sky Dragon Country guards from the Northern Chill Dragon Country were constantly falling. After at least 20 Sky Dragon guards were killed, they no longer approached and retreated to the back. All of them were vigilant but did not dare to leave. If they fled now, they would definitely die. What's going on? What's going on? Not long after Kong Shinmu launched his attack, a series of panicked voices came from the City Lord's mansion. Following that, many young women in disheveled clothes ran out of the City Lord's mansion, crying and screaming. These young women in disheveled clothes seemed to be from the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. They seemed to have been forced into the City Lord's mansion, and not long ago, they were being treated inhumanely. After the Northern Chill Dragon Country's crown prince took over the City Lord's mansion, he had been playing with the young women from the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. These women were all crying and screaming as they ran out. Kong Shinmu was even more furious when he saw these women. This Northern Chill Dragon Country's crown prince was playing with the women from the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. Kill! Kong Shinmu snorted coldly. In the next moment, his 4,000 to 5,000 feet long divine dragon body had already descended above the City Lord's mansion's main gate. A dark shadow covered the entire City Lord's mansion. Ran was behind Kong Shinmu, keeping an eye on the Northern Chill Dragon guards and martial artists. Meanwhile, Kong Shinmu was going to deal with the overlords of the City Lord's mansion alone. 2 men walked out of the City Lord's mansion. One of them was an old man in a white robe. He looked cold, thin, and a little arrogant. The other was a middle-aged man in a dragon robe, who looked a little cynical. The old man was an overlord of the Dragon King's level, and he was at the 7th level of the reincarnation state. The middle-aged man in the dragon robe was the Northern Chill Dragon Country's crown prince. He was indeed not young, and he was an overlord of the Dragon King's 3rd level of the reincarnation state. I was wondering who it was. It turns out that our student Kong Shinmu is back. The Northern Chill Dragon Crown Prince recognized Kong Shinmu immediately. He was quite surprised and happy. I didn't expect you to come here yourself. Chapter 43-54. The Crown Prince of the Northern Han Kingdom's face darkened. He stared at Jiang Shenwu, who had turned into a black dragon, and sneered. I heard that you're a genius from the Dragon Emperor dynasty. If that's the case, I'll come and fight you. Old Xue, you don't have to do anything. I'll kill him first. The Crown Prince of the Northern Cold Region, Dragon King, was at the 3rd level of the reincarnation state. He felt that he was very powerful and was definitely one of the top cultivators among the younger generation. He couldn't believe that he wasn't qualified to join Donghuang Yongwu College. So now, he wanted to kill Jiang Shenwu with his own hands and use this to display his talent and strength. In fact, he was already 40 years old. He could have become the Dragon Emperor in Donghuang Yongwu College. Given the Crown Prince's talent, he wouldn't be able to become the Dragon Emperor so quickly even if he went to Donghuang Yongwu College. As the Crown Prince of the Northern Cold Region, he had received a lot of resources. The amount of energy he could absorb from the Dragon Mark in Donghuang Yongwu College wasn't much less. However, he was only at the 3rd level of the Dragon King's blood essence. He couldn't even compare to Kong Shinmu. Anyway, the Crown Prince was very confident in his strength. He immediately turned into a dragon. The elite guards and dragon martial artists of the northern cold dragon country all backed away. They finally heaved a sigh of relief. Since the Crown Prince of the northern cold region had appeared, they didn't need to care about what happened next. The Crown Prince turned into a dragon. He was an ice divine dragon, the sky-breaking dragon. As soon as he transformed into a dragon, the temperature of the entire area dropped below freezing point. Countless frost and snow condensed in mid-air, fluttering in the air like snow falling from the sky. Jiang Shenwu's black dragon body was also covered in a layer of frost as it revolved around the extreme frost sky-splitting dragon. Ran looked at the extreme frost sky-breaking dragon and took a step back. She wasn't its opponent, but she knew that in Kong Shinmu's eyes, the extreme frost sky-breaking dragon was nothing. Even if an expert of this level attacked with all his might, Kong Shinmu would still be able to devour him. 9 Dragons' cold light suppresses the void. After the Crown Prince of the North Chill country transformed into a dragon, he did not hesitate to use the origin dragon martial technique. As the Crown Prince of the Northern Chill dragon country, he naturally had the qualifications to cultivate the dragon martial technique to the origin level. As soon as the dragon martial technique was unleashed, 9 rays of chilling dragon aura immediately condensed in the surroundings. Then, 9 rays of chilling dragon breath instantly swept towards the place where Kong Shinmu was. They're fighting. Everyone in the entire Flame Dragon City was watching the intense battle with nervous expressions. They had already recognized Kong Shinmu's identity. He was the talented young man that Dragon Emperor Yen thought highly of. It was this talented young man who had caused Dragon Emperor Yen to be taken away by a mysterious person and killed one of the 12 Flame Dragon envoys. This young man had returned. He provoked the Crown Prince as soon as he returned. In terms of cultivation level, the Crown Prince was way stronger than him. One was a 5th level Nirvana state, while the other was a 3rd level rebirth state. They were not on the same level at all. On the other hand, the divine dragon essence blood was at the level of the Dragon King. At this moment, when the Crown Prince used the dragon martial technique, Kong Shinmu did not show any signs of weakness. Void Dragon Sky-Piercing Strike. 6 beams of dark dragon breath shot out from the mouths of the surrounding divine dragon phantoms, directly bombarding the void suppression of the 9 dragons. The 6 rays of dark dragon breath blocked 6 of the rays of cold light and exploded in the air. The energy from both sides created a ripple that spread in all directions. As for the remaining 3 beams of cold light, they forcefully bombarded Jiang Shenwu's pitch-black divine dragon body. The Crown Prince of the North Han Kingdom grunted. He sensed Jiang Shenwu's level and strength and felt that he wasn't a powerful cultivator. Even if there were only 3 beams of cold light left, they should be able to severely injure him. It was a pity. In his eyes, when the 3 rays of cold light hit Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body, Kong Shinmu did not move at all. The 3 beams of cold light seemed to have bombarded a mountain of steel and were directly blocked by his physical body. His attack could not break through Kong Shinmu's body. A pitch-black devouring power appeared on the surface of Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body, and quickly swallowed the power of the 3 rays of cold light. After a while, Kong Shinmu's resistance to the ice element force increased tremendously. The Crown Prince could not hurt Kong Shinmu at all, and it was even more difficult now. Dragon Weapon. Ice God Trident. A top heaven-grade dragon weapon immediately shot out a ray of cold light and turned into an ice trident. The Ice God Trident, a heaven-grade dragon weapon, combined with the Crown Prince's own strength, produced a terrifying power in an instant. The appearance of the dragon weapon had at least doubled the Crown Prince's strength. 9 dragons cold light suppressing the void. The Crown Prince used the Source Dragon martial technique again. This time, his eyes were filled with endless cold light. Although it was the same dragon martial technique, the power of his attack had at least doubled with the help of the dragon weapon. This time, he wanted to see how Kong Shinmu was going to block it. Then, something completely out of his expectations happened. However, Jiang Shenwu did not have the slightest intention of dodging, nor did he have any intention of displaying his defensive dragon martial technique. Just like that, he forcefully faced his attack and suddenly flew towards it. From the looks of it, it was as if Jiang Shenwu had crashed into his dragon martial skill. The Crown Prince felt that with Kong Shinmu's speed, he could easily dodge most of the Crown Prince's attack with a casual use of the dragon martial technique. However, Kong Shinmu did not think that way at all. He directly flew toward the 9 rays of cold light that could suppress the void. With a bang, the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into crashed into the 9 rays of cold light like the toughest steel and blocked them all. The fragments of the 9 rays of cold light exploded in all directions. Kong Shinmu had shattered them with his body. The black dragon's body was full of ice fragments, but it was not injured. Blood flowed out of the divine dragon's body. The 9 beams of cold light collided with the black dragon's body and exploded in an instant, spreading out in all directions. The devouring power did not stop at all. It directly devoured the shattered ice attribute energy like maggots attached to bones. It even formed a thin layer of ice barrier on the surface of Kong Shinmu's black dragon's body. This layer of frost barrier had already reached the limit of resistance against the power of the ice attribute. This was the ice barrier formed by the devouring power. It had an extremely strong devouring effect on any ice attribute energy. 2 more times. I'm afraid even that 7th stage rebirth state old man can't hurt me. Chapter 43-55. At that moment, the skinny elder in a white robe stared at the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into cautiously. He had never thought that Kong Shinmu would be able to withstand 2 attacks from the Crown Prince with just his body. The 2 attacks were stronger than the last, especially the second attack that was combined with the dragon weapon. Even the Dragon King, who was at the 4th level of the rebirth state, would find it hard to withstand it. However, Kong Shinmu, who was only at the 5th level of the nirvana state, had managed to withstand it with his body. The elder in a white robe couldn't believe it. Old Xue, do it. By then, the Crown Prince had also realized that he couldn't hurt Kong Shinmu at all. I wonder what kind of evil tricks this kid used. How could his body be so strong? The Crown Prince felt that Kong Shinmu was a bit strange. At his call, the arrogant and thin old man in white robes finally took a step forward. With this step, he turned into a powerful snow-white dragon. Another 1,500 feet long Dragon King appeared in the sky above the City Lord Manor of Flame Dragon City. Jiang Shenwu looked at this scene and thought to himself, "It's finally here." He hadn't attacked the Crown Prince before because it was meaningless. Not to mention that his Shadow Dragon sky-piercing strike couldn't kill the Crown Prince. Even if it could, he couldn't really attack the Crown Prince with the old man around. Therefore, everything he did was to guard against the old man. The existence of the old man was what Kong Shinmu was most afraid of. However, after fighting with the Crown Prince twice, Kong Shinmu was no longer afraid of the old man. Most of the dragon martial artists in the northern cold dragon country had ice elemental talents. Kong Shinmu also felt the ice elemental energy from the old man, so he was sure that the old man was also an inheritor of the ice elemental divine dragon blood. For the current Kong Shinmu, as long as it was an ice-type attack, the effect would be reduced by at least 90%. Kong Shinmu's refined dragon martial arts technique was perfect. Plus, he had just swallowed 2 powerful attacks from the Prince of the North Frigid region, so Kong Shinmu's black dragon body was extremely resistant to the power of ice element. It would be strange if this old man could hurt Kong Shinmu. Unless the other party had the inherited essence blood of the Dragon Emperor, there was no way they could hurt Kong Shinmu. Of course, Kong Shinmu did not underestimate him at all. Moreover, when old Xue made his move, he had another plan. The plan was about to be implemented. When old Xue turned into a dragon, Kong Shinmu no longer looked at the Prince of the North Cold region. The Prince of the North Cold region stepped back to make space for old Xue, in case he accidentally hurt him. "Kid, if you surrender now, I can spare your life," old Xue said to Kong Shinmu. His voice shook the sky and spread across the entire Fiery Dragon City. All the dragon martial artists of Fiery Dragon City looked at Kong Shinmu, wondering what decision he would make. It was impossible for a 5th-level Nirvana Tribulation state to fight against a 7th-level Reincarnation state. I'm afraid Kong Shinmu has a trump card. Maybe he has an overlord supporting him. It's possible that once old Xue makes his move, an overlord will kill that old man. Humph. Kong Shinmu is a coward. He only came out now, and even the Yen Dragon Emperor has been taken away. Some people hoped that Kong Shinmu had an overlord supporting him, while others were still dissatisfied with Kong Shinmu. Because of Kong Shinmu, the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty was in such a situation. Many dragon martial artists in the entire Fiery Dragon City had been oppressed by the elite guards of the northern cold dragon country and robbed of many precious cultivation resources. How could they accept this? Although they hoped that Kong Shinmu could kill his opponent, it didn't seem likely. After all, the difference between the two sides was too huge, unless there was an even more powerful overlord hidden in Fiery Dragon City, a helper that Kong Shinmu had called for. However, if there was such a person, Kong Shinmu would have called for that overlord a long time ago, right? Why wait until now? No matter what, almost no one in Fiery Dragon City thought highly of Kong Shinmu. Old Xue was the same. He didn't care much about Kong Shinmu, but he was always on guard against any overlord that might appear. After transforming into an ice attribute divine dragon, Old Xue sneered and immediately roared at Kong Shinmu. The sky was filled with ice and snow, along with his powerful dragon martial technique, condensed into countless ice crystal arrows. These arrows formed an ice arrow rain, violently flying towards Kong Shinmu. After exploding this dragon martial technique, Old Xue didn't pay much attention to Kong Shinmu. Instead, he was always on guard against any possible sneak attacks from the dark. What a pity. Kong Shinmu didn't intend to ask for help at all. In this kind of situation, he could handle it alone. When the ice arrow rain whistled with killing intent, the devouring power all over Kong Shinmu's body was covered with a layer of red dragon scar blood. The power of the dragon scar blood erupted and fused with the devouring power. Kong Shinmu's blood essence started to boil. His pair of divine dragon eyes turned red. At this moment, the blood-red devouring power swept out violently and actually blocked more than half of the enemy's frost arrow rain. Moreover, it wasn't just blocking. Kong Shinmu's devouring power started to devour more than half of the ice arrow rain. On the surface, it looked like he was just barely blocking the attack. In reality, he had already transferred this portion of power to his own use. As it was only a portion of the opponent's power, Kong Shinmu could still devour it for his own use. The remaining portion of the ice arrow rain finally landed on Kong Shinmu's body. The sharp ice crystal arrows left deep bloody holes on Kong Shinmu's body. The divine dragon's blood splattered everywhere. However, most of the power of Old Xue's attack had already been blocked by the layer of ice crystal shield on Kong Shinmu's body. Therefore, even though Kong Shinmu looked like he was bleeding all over, he had actually only suffered minor injuries. Not only that, when the ice crystal arrows shot into his black dragon body, they were immediately engulfed by the devouring power. All of them were devoured, which made his body's resistance to the ice attribute power even stronger. Attack! At this moment, when no one expected, Kong Shinmu suddenly used the portion of the ice crystal arrows that he had devoured and suddenly attacked the prince of the northern Han Crown Prince who had retreated to the side. Jiang Shenwu's shout of attack caused everyone in the surroundings to be stunned. They thought that an overlord arranged by Kong Shinmu would appear to help Kong Shinmu deal with Old Xue. However, they soon realized that it wasn't. After Kong Shinmu said, "Attack," Old Xue's ice crystal arrow dragon, which seemed to have been blocked by Kong Shinmu, suddenly changed direction and flew towards the northern Han dragon country. What was going on? Chapter 43-56. Even Old Xue and the prince of the Beihan region were dumbfounded. What was going on? Old Xue wanted to kill him? The crown prince's expression changed. He quickly tried to dodge, but it was impossible for him to escape from the attack range of the ice crystal arrows in a short period of time. Given his strength and the fact that he didn't have time to activate the dragon technique, only his top dragon weapon, the Ice God Trident, could help him block the ice crystal arrows. However, without the dragon technique, the Ice God Trident's defense was pitifully weak. The ice crystal arrows pierced through the power of the Ice God Trident and penetrated the Crown Prince's divine dragon body. Hundreds of bloody holes appeared on the Crown Prince's divine dragon body in an instant. His heart, his head, his entire body were all penetrated by the ice crystal arrows. His pair of divine dragon eyes were wide open, and one of his pupils was pierced by an ice crystal arrow. Fragments of ice and frost remained in his blood-filled eye sockets, making him look incomparably miserable. He couldn't survive such an attack. He might even have lost his life on the spot. He could only open his remaining eye and stare at the person who killed him. Or rather, the person who he thought killed him, Old Xue. His eyes were filled with hatred and resentment as he stared at Old Xue. "Old man, you!" Before he could finish his sentence, the Crown Prince of the Northern Cold region breathed his last. He really thought that Old Xue had killed him. Old Xue was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He had never thought that something like this would happen. It was supposed to be his power. Why did it suddenly turn to attack the crown prince? He instinctively tried to control the power when it attacked the crown prince, but he realized that it didn't belong to him anymore. It had been controlled by someone else. However, he was unable to defend himself against this matter, because everyone saw that he was the one who killed the crown prince with the ice crystal arrows. Who would believe him if he said that he wasn't the one who controlled the ice crystal arrows? All of the Northern Chill Dragon Country's elite guards and dragon martial artists retreated with shock on their faces. The death of the crown prince made the dragon martial artists of Fire Dragon City cheer. The crown prince of the Northern Cold region was killed. How delightful! A lot of the cultivation resources and money that they had plundered usually ended up in the crown prince's pocket. The elite dragon martial artists had to hand over a large portion of the loot to the crown prince. Moreover, the crown prince of the North Han Kingdom was the enemy of the Dragon Emperor's dynasty. He was extremely cruel to the dragon martial artists in the Fire Dragon City. He even brought 100 beautiful girls into the City Lord Mansion to accompany him every day. Very few of the 100 beautiful girls had made it out alive. As for what happened in the City Lord's mansion, no one knew. But today, Kong Shinmu seemed to have interrupted the crown prince and old Xue's good time. A group of beautiful girls escaped while crying. They said that they had been violently treated while accompanying the crown prince in the City Lord mansion. There was something wrong with the crown prince. The other girls who died in the City Lord's mansion were all tortured to death by this boy. They were only able to escape because Kong Shinmu had interrupted the prince and old Xue's enjoyment. At this moment, the entire city was shocked when the crown prince of the North Han Kingdom was killed. Everyone looked at old Xue in surprise. They had never thought that he would be the one who killed the crown prince. He had attacked Kong Shinmu just now, but Kong Shinmu wasn't hurt at all. It was like he was tickling him. Then, Kong Shinmu suddenly said, "Do it," and old Xue's ice crystal arrow killed the crown prince. How could people not think that old Xue was the one who killed the crown prince? Old Xue had colluded with Kong Shinmu. The dragon martial artists of Fire Dragon City and the elite guards of the Northern Cold Dragon Country had already confirmed this fact. Although they didn't know why old Xue was with Kong Shinmu, there must be a reason behind it. They had to believe it when it happened right in front of them. Old Xue was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He knew very well that he wasn't the one who killed the crown prince, but Kong Shinmu had created such an illusion and made everyone believe it. Most importantly, he couldn't refute it at all. Otherwise, why would he, a level 7 rebirth state cultivator, be unable to hurt a mere level 5 nirvana state cultivator like Kong Shinmu? This was too fake. However, even he wanted to know how Kong Shinmu, a mere level 5 nirvana state cultivator, had blocked his attack and turned it around to kill the crown prince. Well done. At this moment, Jiang Shenwu was also feeling terrible. However, he did not show it. Instead, he continued to speak in an indifferent tone. Since old Xue's power was too strong, it was a heavy burden for him to devour it. At this moment, the divine dragon essence blood in his body had quietened down and his devouring power was almost exhausted. It took a long time to replenish the devouring power after it was used up. Fortunately, his body had 99% resistance to the ice attribute power. Although he had only devoured a small part of old Xue's attack, his resistance to the ice attribute power had increased again. At this moment, even if old Xue attacked him with all his might, he wouldn't die. He would at most be injured. And if he was attacked again, his resistance to the power of the ice attribute would become even stronger. That was the terrifying part of the devouring power. It was also because of the effect of the chaotic dragon body that he had a strong resistance to all kinds of power. Otherwise, Kong Shinmu wouldn't have been able to block the crown prince's first attack. Not bad, my ass. Old Xue was so angry when he heard Kong Shinmu's compliment. He immediately widened his eyes and unleashed all his power. Endless ice and snow, along with a series of heaven-level dragon weapons made of frostbone teeth, swept toward Kong Shinmu. That was his full power. If he could kill Jiang Shenwu, then he wouldn't be wrongly accused of killing the crown prince of the Northern Han region. Although he would still be blamed for failing to protect Jiang Shenwu, it would be much better than killing the crown prince himself. Unfortunately, he didn't know that he didn't have a chance. Chapter 43-57. Old Xue was very powerful. However, Kong Shinmu's advantage had already been established in the series of battles just now. He had devoured too much ice attribute energy, so his resistance to ice attribute energy had already reached an unimaginable level. Old Xue's roaring blizzard covered Kong Shinmu's entire body. However, Kong Shinmu was in the center of this blizzard, and he was not injured at all. An extremely thick layer of ice barrier was formed all over his body. This layer of ice attribute barrier blocked all of Old Xue's blizzard power. Only an extremely small part of it could penetrate through and attack Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body. This extremely small part of the power could not hurt Kong Shinmu at all. When Old Xue saw that the blizzard dragon martial technique he executed had completely enveloped Jiang Shenwu, he did not show any signs of joy. Instead, he had a sullen expression and a vigilant expression. Soon after, under everyone's gaze, Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body rushed out of the blizzard. At the same time, Kong Shinmu's laughter was heard. You don't have to pretend anymore. You have already killed him, so why are you still pretending? Why don't we sit down and have a good talk about joining the Yen Dragon Emperor's court? As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. Was that really what was going on? This Old Xue actually wanted to join the Yen Dragon Emperor's court? And in order to join the Yen Dragon Emperor's court, he actually killed the crown prince of the northern Chill Dragon country. When he heard that, Old Xue was furious. He had never seen such a shameless person. Although he did not know how Kong Shinmu had used his power to kill the crown prince of the northern Chill Dragon country, he was sure that it was Kong Shinmu's doing. It was very likely that the powerful figure behind Kong Shinmu had secretly made a move and created the illusion that he had killed the crown prince of the northern Chill Dragon country. With such a powerful figure behind him, he really could not kill Kong Shinmu in such a situation. He might as well go with the flow and save his own life first. He felt that it was utterly impossible for Jiang Shenwu to be completely unscathed under his attack with that little cultivation base of his. There must be a powerful figure behind him. Under such circumstances, if he continued to resist stubbornly, he would very likely be killed by the other party. Now that the other party hasn't made a move openly, it should be because it's not convenient for him to show himself. Or should I say, he wants the real opponent to come and show himself. That means that the person behind Kong Shinmu is probably even more powerful than the Black Dragon Martial Emperor. Everyone, including Old Xue and the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor, had no idea who it was that wanted to deal with Jiang Shenwu. They did not know about the existence of the Eastern Emperor Dragon Martial Academy's dean, Zhuo Xiaofeng. They had only met the Black Dragon Martial Master, who was a sixth dragon of the Emperor. Even the Yen Dragon Emperor was captured as soon as he made a move. That means that Kong Shinmu has a way to deal with the Black Dragon Emperor? I'm afraid that the person behind him is a powerful figure from Donghuang Yonggu College. Old Xue kept guessing in his mind. Unfortunately, all his guesses were wrong. The person behind Kong Shinmu was not from Donghuang Yonggu College, but from Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Arts College. The Black Dragon Emperor who captured the Yen Dragon Emperor was the powerful figure from Donghuang Yonggu College. As for who it was, no one knew. Old Xue thought of so many things, so he did not resist anymore. Instead, he deactivated his divine dragon form and raised his hand. He looked around with a serious expression and said, "All soldiers of the Northern Chill Dragon country, listen up. Disarm and return to the camp to rest." This order caused everyone to be dumbfounded. At first, they did not believe that Old Xue would cooperate with Kong Shinmu. He actually wanted to join the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty? But now, with Old Xue's order, whether it was the Dragon Warriors of Flame Dragon City or the elite Dragon Warriors of Northern Chill Dragon Country, they were all shocked. This was actually true. To be honest, even Kong Shinmu himself was a little surprised. However, after thinking about it, he understood the reason. This old man was simply afraid of death. Because he was afraid of death, he temporarily pretended to obey Kong Shinmu and then slowly thought of a countermeasure. In that case, Kong Shinmu could not be bothered to talk nonsense with him. The elite guards of the Northern Chill Dragon Country all deactivated their divine dragon forms. It seemed that they had obeyed Old Xue's order and were ready to go back and rest. They had witnessed Old Xue kill the crown prince of the Northern Chill Dragon Country with their own eyes. This scene was still lingering in their minds. They knew that there were two paths in front of them. One was to follow Old Xue. The other was to go all the way and try to join the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. However, many people did not want to take this path. There was another path, which was to go back first and then secretly report what happened here to the Northern Chill Dragon country, so that the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor dynasty would know. As long as the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor dynasty knew, the Black-Robed Dragon martial artist would definitely know. When the Black-Robed Dragon martial artist arrived, it would be the time when the two countries of the Dragon Emperor dynasty would have a real winner. Kong Shinmu could not be bothered to care about their thoughts because there was no need. What he wanted to do was to lure the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor, the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor, and the others out and deal with them in one go. This time, since the beautiful dean of the Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Arts Academy was secretly protecting him, she definitely wanted to let Kong Shinmu deal with the matter here to avoid more trouble in the future. If he could deal with it in one go, she would not have to worry about Kong Shinmu in the future. As for how to deal with it, that was something that the dean had to consider. She would probably have to talk to Zhuo Xiaofeng. She did not go to Zhuo Xiaofeng directly because she wanted Kong Shinmu to make the matter bigger and lure Zhuo Xiaofeng over. Otherwise, this matter would not be solved at all. In that case, let's play slowly. Kong Shinmu suddenly sneered when he thought of Zhuo Xiaofeng. He glanced at old Xue and suddenly said, "Send a message first and ask the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor to come back. Oh yes, don't forget to remind him that there is an expert from the Yen Dragon City. He might not be a match for him." Old Xue was shocked when he heard that. He clearly understood what Kong Shinmu meant. He really wanted to trick the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor to come back and kill him. There must be someone behind this kid who could suppress the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. Otherwise, he would not be so arrogant. Old Xue's expression did not change. He had completely disguised his thoughts. After hearing Kong Shinmu's words, Old Xue immediately nodded and said, "Yes, I will do it immediately." Old Xue did not dare to fight with Kong Shinmu directly in order to survive. However, he had agreed to Kong Shinmu's request so openly, which also made the other elite guards of the Northern Chill Dragon country feel that he was really in cahoots with Kong Shinmu. In addition, Old Xue had publicly killed the Northern Chill Crown Prince and attacked Kong Shinmu several times without any success. All these circumstances made it impossible for Old Xue to turn back. He could only try to help Kong Shinmu and do whatever Kong Shinmu asked him to do. That was the only way to survive. It was impossible for him to go back to the Northern Chill Dragon country. He only hoped that when the time came, Zhang Shenwu would spare his life on the account that he had cooperated with him. Chapter 4358. No matter what Old Xue thought, Kong Shinmu did not need to be afraid of him. Then he took out a blood-red dragon scale and called the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon over. The Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was a demon emperor near the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. He had helped Kong Shinmu many times before, including when several Dragon Emperor kingdoms invaded the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. This time, Kong Shinmu used the blood-red dragon scale again and the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon came over. Of course, he did not know who Kong Shinmu had offended this time. From the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon's point of view, Kong Shinmu was still a student of Donghuang Yonggu College. Now that Kong Shinmu was in trouble and needed him, he was willing to contribute. The appearance of the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon in Yen Dragon City shocked all the dragon warriors around. They had only heard that when the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty was invaded, the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon had appeared to help. They did not expect him to appear in Yen Dragon City now. Looking at the relationship between Kong Shinmu and the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon, it seemed that Kong Shinmu had called the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon over. Kong Shinmu had such a helper. The Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was a powerful demon emperor. His strength was about the same as the Yen Dragon Emperor. Even if the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor came, he would not be able to defeat the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon so easily. With the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon, Kong Shinmu indeed had the ability to fight against the Northern Chill Dragon country. But what worried everyone in Yen Dragon City was that the opponent Kong Shinmu had offended was not as simple as the Northern Chill Dragon country. Most importantly, it was the black-robed dragon warrior who had easily captured the Yen Dragon Emperor. If it was just the Northern Chill Dragon country, Kong Shinmu would have asked his mentor, Chu Yueqiang, to teach them a lesson so that they would not dare to offend the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty again. However, there was a reason why the Northern Chill Dragon country was so arrogant. Some people even thought that the person Kong Shinmu offended this time was not even afraid of Donghuang Yonggu College. Senior Qi Tian, just wait here for a period of time. If any experts come to invade, I'll need you to take action. Kong Shinmu said to the dragon. The heaven-opening devil dragon laughed and said, "Don't worry, with this emperor here, no matter who comes, they won't be able to hurt you. I didn't expect that there would still be people who dare to come to the Yen Dragon Emperor's court to cause trouble. What a joke." However, the other party has taken Dragon Emperor Yen away as a hostage. You still have to think of a countermeasure. If the other party uses Yen Dragon Emperor's life as a threat, how will you deal with it? This problem was also what made Kong Shin-mu the most uncomfortable. Obviously, now that the other party had taken Dragon Emperor Yen away, it was his fatal weakness. It was very likely that Yen Dragon Emperor Yen was in Zhuo Xiaofeng's hands. And the only person who could deal with Zhuo Xiaofeng was the beautiful dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. Did she have any way to deal with it? Just as Kong Shin-mu was worrying, he suddenly heard a clear and melodious voice. The voice was mature and beautiful. It was the beautiful dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. The voice said, "Don't worry, this person won't dare to kill innocent people, especially people like the Dragon Emperor. If he dares to kill Yen Dragon Emperor Yen, I'll immediately report to the higher-ups, and Zhuo Xiaofeng will be punished directly. This is the rule. So, no matter who the opponent is, just go all out. If you encounter someone you can't deal with, then I'll take action. Of course, it's best to wait until Zhuo Xiaofeng personally appears before letting me out. Otherwise, that guy will definitely not dare to show up. Only when he comes out can I teach him a good lesson. I heard that Zhuo Xiaofeng is still plotting against Yu Tianchong. He really doesn't know what's good for him." These words made Kong Shin-mu feel quite relieved. In other words, Zhuo Xiaofeng would not dare to kill Dragon Emperor Yen. Once he killed a person like Dragon Emperor Yen, the higher-ups would not let him off easily. After all, Zhuo Xiaofeng was appointed as the dean of Donghuang Yonggu College not to let him bully other ordinary dragon martial artists. If things got out of hand, it would not do him any good, and he might even be severely punished. In that case, Kong Shin-mu was relieved. Zhuo Xiaofeng would be handed over to the dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy to deal with. Kong Shin-mu only needed to be responsible for luring Zhuo Xiaofeng out. Of course, Zhuo Xiaofeng might not appear in person. This meant that Kong Shin-mu had to think of a way to defeat all the people under Zhuo Xiaofeng. No matter who the other party sent, Kong Shin-mu had to defeat them. Otherwise, according to the dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy, Zhuo Xiaofeng would most likely not appear in person. In that case, this matter would not really be resolved. It seems that Zhuo Xiaofeng is very afraid of Dean Emperor Shi. It seems that Dean Emperor Shi is much stronger than him, and his status is also higher. Kong Shin-mu was not clear about the situation at the higher-ups. He could only speculate based on the information he had obtained. The 4 great dragon martial academies of the dragon martial continent were equal to each other. However, each dean seemed to have different seniority and strength. Kong Shin-mu still did not know the cultivation and strength of the beautiful dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Zhuo Xiaofeng, on the other hand, did not seem to be too strong. Although he could crush people at Kong Shin-mu's level, the pressure he gave Kong Shin-mu was still much weaker than that of the beautiful dean. In that case, I have to think about how to deal with the opponents that will appear next. Kong Shin-mu thought to himself. Before Zhuo Xiaofeng appeared, the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor would definitely return. As for the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor, he could let the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon deal with him. Both sides were at the same level of strength. Kong Shin-mu was not worried that the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon would lose, unless the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor had other Dragon Emperors to help him. However, this was basically impossible. After all, this matter had just happened. The Northern Chill Dragon Emperor was thinking about monopolizing the Dragon Sealing Abyss. It was impossible for him to spread the news to the neighboring kingdoms of the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, there was only one Dragon Emperor, the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. However, Kong Shin-mu was not worried about him, but the black-robed dragon warrior. It was conceivable that when the Northern Chill Crown Prince was killed and the news of Kong Shin-mu's appearance spread, the black-robed dragon warrior who captured the Yen Dragon Emperor would definitely appear in person. If he could not deal with the black-robed dragon warrior, then Zhuo Xiaofeng would definitely not appear. As such, this matter was more difficult to solve. However, the black-robed dragon warrior's strength was definitely much stronger than Kong Shin-mu's. He was even stronger than the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon. He was an existence that could crush the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon. Under such circumstances, Without relying on Dean Emperor Shi, how could Kong Xinmu defeat his opponent? No matter what, let's first see how the Jiang tribe and the Shi tribe of Dragon Prison City are doing. Kong Xinmu thought about it and decided to look at the situation in other places first. Chapter 4359. At the same time, he also asked them to inform Northern Chill Dragon Emperor to return. Anyway, Kong Xinmu was already prepared to kill Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. This person had repeatedly invaded the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. After so many times, he had brought unimaginable losses to the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. If Kong Xinmu did not get rid of this person, his temper would be too good. After instructing the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon to guard Yen Dragon City, Kong Xinmu brought Ran Ran and returned to the Shi clan residence in Dragon Prison City. He also took a look at the Jiang clan and found that Sui Xiaofeng had not sent anyone to cause trouble in these two places. He probably thought that one Yen Dragon Emperor was enough. After all, these two places were too small. Even if Kong Xinmu had friends, they would not be able to enter Sui Xiaofeng's eyes. After confirming that the Shi clan residents and the Jiang clan were fine, Kong Xinmu felt relieved. Perhaps to Sui Xiaofeng, these two places did not even have a Dragon King, so there was no need to pay attention to them. When he passed by these two places, he did not show himself and did not disturb the lives of the people. However, Kong Xinmu made some inquiries. Even the people of the Jiang clan had heard that Dragon Emperor had been captured, and it was because of Kong Xinmu. The people of the Jiang clan were still a little flustered. After all, Kong Xinmu had provoked an expert. If the other party had any ideas about the Jiang clan, then the Jiang clan would not have any ability to resist. It would be a small matter if they were destroyed. We are still too weak. We can't give them a sense of security. Kong Xinmu sighed. Fortunately, the Jiang tribal clan was not implicated. What happened next would not be related to the Jiang tribal clan. One day later, when he returned to Yen Dragon City, he heard that Northern Chill Dragon Emperor was already rushing over. The Dragon Emperor of the Beihan region had many children, but the most promising one was the Crown Prince of the Beihan region. That was why the Dragon Emperor of the Beihan region had brought the Prince of the Beihan region to the Dragon Emperor's court. He wanted to take this opportunity to give the entire territory of the Dragon Emperor's court to the Prince of the Beihan region so that he could manage the country of the Dragon Emperor. Unexpectedly, Kong Xinmu came back at this time. He killed the Crown Prince of the Northern Cold region as soon as he came back. When this matter reached Beihan Dragon Emperor's ears, it made Beihan Dragon Emperor go crazy. The Crown Prince of the Northern Cold region was killed by Kong Xinmu? It was the biggest joke in the world. This news was sent to him by old Xue. In the message, he said that Kong Xinmu and the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon were guarding the Fire Dragon City. Old Xue and the other elite guards of the Northern Chill Dragon Country were hiding in the Fire Dragon City, which was why they hadn't been discovered. Beihan Dragon Emperor believed this. Because the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon and Kong Xinmu really had the ability to kill the Prince of the Beihan region. Even old Xue couldn't stop them. It was already difficult for old Xue to keep himself alive. Therefore, Beihan Dragon Emperor asked old Xue to continue observing the situation and keep in touch. He would come back soon. At the same time, Beihan Dragon Emperor also sent the news to the Dragon Warrior in a black robe. The Dragon Warrior in a black robe was the cause of this incident. If the Dragon Warrior in a black robe appeared, Beihan Dragon Emperor was confident that he could take down the Yen Dragon Emperor. Before he killed Kong Xinmu, he didn't think it was appropriate. After all, Kong Xinmu called the tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College and injured all four of the Dragon Emperors, including him. This incident was a big blow to him. As the Dragon Emperor, he was no match for the tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College. The gap was too big. From then on, Beihan Dragon Emperor knew that there were too many more powerful beings in the world, so he wanted to continue cultivating. At his current age, it was impossible for him to join the Dragon Martial Academy. He could only try his best to obtain more cultivation resources. There was only one source of cultivation resources, and that was to plunder. The Yen Dragon Emperor was the first target that Beihan Dragon Emperor decided to plunder. With the help of the Dragon Warrior in a black robe, he was confident that he could take down the Yen Dragon Emperor. The two Dragon Emperor countries provided cultivation resources together. Although there weren't many treasures that contained the energy of the Dragon Mark, it could still give Beihan Dragon Emperor a chance to increase the level of the Divine Dragon Essence blood. At the level of the Dragon Emperor, the divine dragon essence blood was divided into 10 levels. The dragon monarch's strength would increase tremendously with every increase in level. Because of this, the tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College could crush the dragon emperors outside and even seriously injure them when fighting against 4 of them. This was the problem of the level of the Dragon Emperor. Beihan Dragon Emperor also wanted to reach a higher level of the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, invading and plundering was the easiest way. Unfortunately, because of this, he lost his most promising son, the crown prince of the Beihan region, to become the Dragon Emperor. Of course, he didn't regret it. He just rushed to the Yen Dragon City angrily, followed by the powerful dragon martial artist army of the Beihan Dragon Country. Originally, they were going to occupy the Sealing Dragon Abyss. But now, they could only come to Flame Dragon City first and get rid of Jiang Xinwu once and for all. What he wanted was to get rid of Jiang Xinwu once and for all. Even if the heaven-opening demon dragon helped Kong Xinmu, he wasn't afraid. If Kong Xinmu called the tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College, the dragon warrior in a black robe would deal with him. Beihan Dragon Emperor could feel that the dragon warrior in a black robe wouldn't lose to Kong Xinmu. The tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College last time could definitely fight against him. The helpers that Jiang Xinwu could call for were all people who could deal with, suppress, and target them. Then, it wouldn't be difficult to deal with Kong Xinmu. After all, in his opinion, Kong Xinmu was just a junior. Any 2 Dragon Kings could crush Kong Xinmu. His understanding of Kong Xinmu's strength stopped at the border last time. A day later, Beihan Dragon Emperor returned to the Yen Dragon City with the Dragon Martial Artist Army. He shouted outside the Yen Dragon City, "Kong Xinmu, get out here!" "Are you asking me to come out, brother?" A rather mocking voice rang out from within the city. Then, the gigantic figure of the heaven-awakening demonic dragon soared into the sky with billowing black clouds, charging straight for the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill. The heaven-opening demon dragon wasn't afraid at all. He had seen Kong Xinmu call the tutor of Donghuang Yonggu College last time and seriously injure the 4 Dragon Emperors, including the Beihan Dragon Emperor. He flew toward the Beihan Dragon Emperor and released his demonic energy. The dark clouds turned into a dark storm and shrouded the Beihan Dragon Emperor. "Heaven opening. You're on the wrong side this time." The Beihan Dragon Emperor snorted. "I advise you to get out of here. Don't get involved in this, or you will lose your life in this Yen Dragon City." As he spoke, he released the power of ice and formed a barrier of ice mountains to block the heaven-opening demon dragon's attack. Chapter 4360. Is that so? Hee. Heaven-awakening demon dragon sneered as he continued to attack. "Have you forgotten that you were severely injured by that instructor Chu? Humph. Do you think I would dare to attack the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty without any preparation?" Beihan Dragon Emperor snorted. "To be honest, the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty is just a bonus. That master only wants Kong Xinmu's life. Heaven Awakening, if you know what's good for you, get lost now and no one will chase after you. But if you resist stubbornly, when that master arrives, you will die." "Oh, I'm so scared." Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon pretended to be afraid and didn't show any mercy. But in fact, he still took Beihan Dragon Emperor's words to heart. After all, if Beihan Dragon Emperor didn't have a trump card, he wouldn't dare to attack the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty and Kong Xinmu like this. Could it be that there was really an overlord who would attack Kong Xinmu? Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was a little hesitant, but it was hard for him to get off now. Beihan Dragon Emperor might have said it nicely. If there was really someone behind him, then he wouldn't let Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon go. No matter what, he had to stop Beihan Dragon Emperor now. Beihan Dragon Emperor. At that moment, Jiang Xinwu, dressed in black, appeared on the city wall with a large group of people following him. Kong Xinmu and Ran Ran walked together with many elites of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. There were even a few overlords at the level of the Dragon King. They were all the commanders of the Dragon Martial Artist Army. They stood with Kong Xinmu and weren't afraid of Beihan Dragon Emperor at all. Beihan Dragon Emperor's eyes were almost spitting fire when he heard Kong Xinmu's voice. He roared, "Kong Xinmu! You killed my son. This emperor will let you die without a burial ground. The heaven-opening demonic dragon is being held back by me. Old Xue, what are you waiting for?" When he shouted, he felt that he was about to witness Kong Xinmu's death. After all, Old Xue was a dragon king at the 7th stage of the rebirth tribulation realm. Although Kong Xinmu was also a dragon king, he was only at the 5th stage of the nirvana tribulation realm. As for the Yen Dragon Emperor's army commanders and the few Dragon King experts around Kong Xinmu, they weren't weak either. However, most of them were at the 3rd or 4th tier of the rebirth tribulation realm. None of them had surpassed the 5th tier. After all, the strongest Dragon King of the Dragon Emperor dynasty was the 12 Flame Dragon Envoys. Even the other army commanders of the Dragon Martial Warrior Corps didn't have such high cultivation. In Beihan Dragon Emperor's opinion, as long as Old Xue and the Dragon Martial Warrior Corps behind him held back the few Dragon King experts around Kong Xinmu, killing Kong Xinmu would be a piece of cake. After all, he had led 3 legions of Dragon Martial Warriors here this time. But what was out of his expectations was Old Xue appeared very quickly. However, after he appeared, he lowered his head and appeared not far from Kong Xinmu, mingling with the experts of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. Although these experts of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty were not as strong as Old Xue, they were enough to suppress Old Xue if they worked together. In other words, Old Xue was completely under control. Previously, Yen Dragon City had been controlled because no one had worked together. After the Yen Dragon Emperor was captured, all the Dragon Martial Warrior Corps had lost their backbone. But now, Kong Xinmu had gathered the experts of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty together again. This was a very strong force that Old Xue could not break through. Old Xue? Why? When he saw Old Xue appear in this state, and he didn't seem to be imprisoned at all, just a little restricted, Beihan Dragon Emperor was stunned. He was a little confused. What was going on? Old Xue was being controlled? But that was impossible. If he was being controlled, how could he inform him and ask him to come back? Beihan Dragon Emperor couldn't figure it out. Soon, Old Xue coughed and said awkwardly, "My apologies, Emperor." He didn't say too much. After all, he could be said to be Kong Xinmu's prisoner, so he didn't dare to say too much. Old Xue guessed that there must be someone extremely powerful behind Kong Xinmu. Even if it was someone like the Beihan Dragon Emperor or the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon, they wouldn't be able to control his power to kill the prince of the Beihan region. Since Kong Xinmu dared to come back, he must be confident. He was betting that Kong Xinmu would be the final winner. So for Old Xue, he was on Kong Xinmu's side now. Kong Xinmu smiled and looked up at the Beihan Dragon Emperor. "You didn't expect this, did you? Old Xue is the murderer who killed your son. Everyone in Yen Dragon City saw it with their own eyes. He has decided to join Yen Dragon City, and I admire his decision." Although it was a young man who said this, no one thought it was funny. Because Old Xue didn't refute it. This meant that what Kong Xinmu said was true. Then, the elite dragon warriors of the Beihan Dragon Country appeared on the city wall, as if they were going to help Kong Xinmu. When the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill saw this scene, he was so angry that he almost died. Old Xue betrayed them? The Beihan Dragon Country was in such a good situation, but Old Xue betrayed them? He even betrayed them with so many elite guards of the Beihan Dragon Country, and joined the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. This is... The Beihan Dragon Emperor was so angry that he was half a beat slower in his attack, and was almost injured by the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon. In the sky, the Demon Emperor and the Dragon Emperor were fighting. Extraordinary power swept across the sky, and terrifying destructive power swept across the sky. On the city wall of Yen Dragon City, Kong Xinmu led the crowd to watch the battle. He looked confident on the surface, but in fact, he was a little nervous. If the black-robed dragon warrior came later, he wouldn't be able to stop him. Fortunately, yesterday, with the help of Dean Emperor Shi, he had modified the Flame Dragon City's Great Array Formation and provided a precious energy crystal to strengthen the Bao Shadow Array Formation. Only Kong Xinmu and Ran knew about this. If the black-robed dragon warrior appeared, he could use the protective formation to delay for a while. As for what to do after that, he would think about it later. Because it was a modification of the protective formation that the Dragon Emperor had set up, it wouldn't expose any traces of Dean Shi. If the black-robed dragon warrior couldn't break it and called Zhou Xiaofeng over, then everything would be over. Jiang Xinwu was worried that if the black-robed dragon ancient martial art practitioner could break through the Great City Protecting Array, the situation would not be good. As they did not know who the other party was, even Headmaster Emperor Shi was not sure if the Great City Protecting Array that she had modified could withstand the other party's attack. Chapter 4361. They could only go on like this. Anyway, Kong Shinmu was in an invincible position. At most, he would not be able to lure Zhuo Xiaofeng out and completely solve this matter. She seemed to want to have a good talk with Zhuo Xiaofeng, but if she took the initiative to appear, Zhuo Xiaofeng would definitely avoid her. After all, Zhuo Xiaofeng was a little afraid of her. As for Donghuang Yongwu College, if Zhuo Xiaofeng hid inside, she could not do anything to him. The defense of the 4 dragon colleges was extremely strong. Even as a dean, he could not force his way in. Therefore, he could only lure Zhuo Xiaofeng out first. That way, she would definitely have a way to deal with Zhuo Xiaofeng. Right now, the black-robed dragon martial artist had not appeared yet. Kong Shinmu and the others seemed to be watching the Beihan Dragon Emperor make a fool of himself. The fierce battle between the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon and the Beihan Dragon Emperor lasted for about half an hour. The Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon slowly gained the upper hand. As a black storm formed by black gas rolled out, the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon's power gradually suppressed the Beihan Dragon Emperor. The Beihan Dragon Emperor's expression changed slightly. He did not expect the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon to be stronger than him. This Demon Emperor seemed to have obtained a lot of cultivation resources. Beihan Dragon Emperor, what do you think? The Heaven Opening Demon Dragon roared with laughter. Hurry up and get your subordinates to attack together. You alone are no match for me. If you don't get your subordinates to attack, you will be killed by me. These words immediately made the Beihan Dragon Emperor furious. Bullshit! Although he was gradually at a disadvantage, it was still too early for him to lose. Even the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was only slightly suppressing him. If he got his army to attack the battle between the Dragon Emperor and the Demon Emperor, then as the Dragon Emperor, as the ruler of the Beihan Dragon Country, what face would he have left? Although he was at a disadvantage, he was not afraid. He was waiting for the black-robed dragon martial artist to arrive. He had already spread the news of Kong Shinmu's appearance. As for when the other party would arrive, he did not know. Perhaps the other party needed some time to settle down the Yen Dragon Emperor and the remaining 11 Yen Dragon envoys. However, the other party would definitely come. The black-robed dragon warrior's target was Kong Shinmu from the start. That was why he took Yen Dragon Emperor away. Otherwise, it would have been better to kill Yen Dragon Emperor. Why would he take him away? Beihan Dragon Emperor and the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon fought fiercely. The sky was filled with the sound of explosions. In Fiery Dragon City, many dragon martial artists sighed with emotion. This was originally the capital of Dragon Emperor Yan's dynasty, the territory of Yen Dragon Emperor. However, today, there were 2 other Dragon Emperor and Demon Emperor fighting fiercely in the sky, and Yen Dragon Emperor was nowhere to be found. Around noon, the sun was setting in the west after noon. Above the sky, snow-white clouds drifted by, bringing with them a light breeze. However, because of the battle between the 2 emperors below, it was very chaotic. Kong Shinmu suddenly noticed that there seemed to be a giant black shadow flashing through the clouds. His expression changed slightly. Sky Opening, come back. Time was of the essence. He could not care too much. He directly ordered the Sky Opening Demon Dragon to return to Fiery Dragon City. The Sky Opening Demon Dragon had the upper hand in the battle with Beihan Dragon Emperor. Therefore, if he wanted to leave now, he could easily leave the battlefield. Seeing that the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon was about to retreat to Fiery Dragon City, the Beihan Dragon Emperor suddenly felt something and instantly unleashed many violent dragon martial arts attacks. Unfortunately, the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon only casually dodged and avoided all the attacks. Soon, the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon returned to the sky above Fiery Dragon City and transformed into the appearance of the middle-aged man in red. He still listened to Kong Shinmu's words. After all, he was very clear about Kong Shinmu's identity. He was a student of Donghuang Yongwu College. Now that he was told to hurry back to Fiery Dragon City, there would not be any mistakes. When he flew back to Fiery Dragon City, suddenly, a layer of flame protection barrier rose around the entire Fiery Dragon City. When this layer of flame protection barrier rose, the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon knew that there must be a powerful figure coming. And this powerful figure was definitely someone he could not deal with. Even if it was just someone of the same level as him, if he joined forces with the Beihan Dragon Emperor, the Sky-Opening Demon Dragon would not be a match for the 2 of them. However, Brother Jiang, This protective array formation of yours was set up by the Yen Dragon Emperor in the past, right? The sky-opening demon dragon walked up to Kong Shinmu and asked doubtfully, if this protective array formation is only used to protect the Beihan Dragon Emperor, then it's naturally not a problem. But to protect more powerful figures, I'm afraid. The sky-opening demon dragon's doubts were also the doubts of the other dragon martial artists on the city wall. Moreover, if he encountered any difficulties, shouldn't Kong Shinmu directly invite a tutor from Donghuang Yonggu College? Just like the battle near the dragon ceiling abyss previously. Many of them did not understand. But soon they understood. When the sky-opening demon dragon raised his question and before Kong Shinmu could answer, a huge black figure suddenly descended from the sky. That was another powerful figure at the level of the Dragon Emperor. Moreover, his aura was magnificent, and he was a level higher than the Beihan Dragon Emperor and the sky-opening demon dragon. The pitch-black divine dragon that was more than 10,000 feet long appeared from the clouds. A pair of divine dragon eyes were filled with indifference as it whistled and stopped next to the Beihan Dragon Emperor. The Beihan Dragon Emperor immediately froze. He could feel that this pitch-black Dragon Emperor was too powerful. This was the black-robed dragon martial artist who took the Yen Dragon Emperor away last time. The black-robed dragon martial artist had finally appeared. The Beihan Dragon Emperor glanced in the direction of the Yen Dragon City and saw that Kong Shinmu and the others were actually hiding in the Yen Dragon City. He could not help but snort coldly. Even if it was him, he would be able to easily break through the Flame Dragon protection array that was set up by the Fire Dragon Emperor, much less the black-robed martial artist. As long as he took action, he would definitely be able to easily break through the array. You still came back. The pitch-black Dragon Emperor did not remove his dragon martial artist form. Instead, he looked at Kong Shinmu on the city wall with a look of interest. Where is the Yen Dragon Emperor? Kong Shinmu asked. He was also quite nervous now. He did not know what level his opponent was at, and he did not know if the Yen Dragon Emperor Guardian Array that had been modified by Dean Emperor she could withstand the opponent's attack. Although he knew that it was useless to ask, he still asked. If you want to see the Yen Dragon Emperor, just come with me. Otherwise, I'm afraid you will never see him in this life. The pitch-black Dragon Emperor said coldly. What he meant by coming with him was probably to go back to Donghuang Yonggu College with him. In that case, Kong Shinmu would also become a fish on Zhou Xiaofeng's chopping block. It would be impossible for him to escape. Even Dean Emperor she would not be able to save him. Of course, Kong Shinmu would not do such a thing. Chapter 4362. It's impossible for me to go with you. Come and catch me if you have the ability. Kong Shinmu's expression did not change. He did not panic because of the opponent's appearance at all. Instead, the others around him all became silent. They could clearly feel the powerful aura of the black-robed dragon martial artist. That was an existence that could crush Dragon Emperor Yen and defeat Dragon Emperor Yen with one move. In the face of such an existence, could they resist with just the protective formation set up by Dragon Emperor Yen? They could not resist it. This was what many people were thinking because it was inevitable. Even the Yen Dragon Emperor had been defeated in a single move. How could the protective spell formation he had set up be able to withstand the attack of his opponent? However, they did not panic. Because the opponent's target was Kong Shinmu. Even if the opponent broke the protective formation, he would only capture Kong Shinmu. As long as they did not court death and stood in front of Kong Shinmu, they would basically be fine. Humph. Stubborn. You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. The black dragon snorted coldly. He did not communicate with Beihan Dragon Emperor, but directly attacked the flame barrier outside Yen Dragon City. He looked down on Beihan Dragon Emperor's power. That was because he was much stronger than the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. He had seen many protective barriers like the one in front of him, but they could not withstand more than 3 moves from him every time. At this moment, 2 rays of black light condensed under the black dragon's claws and exploded toward the flame barrier, directly blasting in the direction of Kong Shinmu. If the flame barrier could be broken, then he could directly kill Kong Shinmu. The opponent's target was Kong Shinmu, so it did not matter if he killed Kong Shinmu. Anyway, Zhou Xiaofeng's ultimate goal was to kill Kong Shinmu. At this moment, the opponent's attack was swift and fierce, causing the people around Kong Shinmu to be shocked. Now, it was an absolute suppression of power. Even if they wanted to block for Kong Shinmu, they wouldn't be able to. They would only be killed along with Kong Shin-mu. Therefore they scattered to the side, not daring to stand together with Kong Shin-mu. Only Ran was left, and she was standing with Kong Shin-mu. The black-robed youth and the black-robed girl stood together like a towering mountain, unmoving. It was as if they weren't worried that the other party's attack would be able to break through their flame barrier. Looking at this scene, even the heaven-opening devil dragon broke out in a cold sweat. Wasn't this Kong Shin-mu too arrogant? That black dragon monarch powerhouse was too powerful. Even he was no match for him. Kong Shin-mu had placed his hopes on the protective barrier left behind by the Yen Dragon Emperor. This was too. However, before the heaven-awakening demon dragon could say anything, everyone in the surroundings saw a shocking scene. They saw the opponent's pitch-black light beam dragon martial skill bombarding the flame barrier in an instant. The originally expected situation of the barrier shattering and the flames surging did not happen. Instead, when the pitch-black light beam bombarded the flame barrier, the pitch-black light exploded in all directions. Under the explosion, the flame barrier did not move at all. As for his opponent's dragon martial technique, it was instantly destroyed. Such a shocking scene instantly stunned all the dragon martial artists around. This situation was completely the opposite of what they had imagined. When did the protective array of Yen Dragon City become so powerful? If it had been so powerful before, it would have been impossible for the Yen Dragon Emperor to be captured. At least, he wouldn't have been captured so easily. For a moment, everyone was a little confused. Even the Black Dragon Emperor, seeing that his attack did not work, froze in his mystical dragon eyes, as if he had not expected such a situation. That protective barrier seemed to have been tampered with. Had it become stronger? The Black Dragon Emperor did not say much. Black aura erupted from his body, and with an incomparably ferocious force, he launched an even more ferocious attack towards where Kong Shin-mu was. The black aura spread and soared in the air. Endless pitch-black energy condensed into a dragon martial skill. Wave after wave, it swept towards the flame barrier in front of Kong Shin-mu. The rumbling sounds were endless. However, the opponent's attack seemed to be unable to break through the flame barrier no matter what. Even under the opponent's continuous attack, the flame barrier did not budge at all. The dragon martial artists of Fiery Dragon City were panicking at first. Then they were surprised. Then, they calmed down and started chatting merrily. Some of them even pointed at the sky and started chatting. They really did not expect their flame barrier to be so strong. If they had known that there was such a strong barrier, why would they have been afraid? The heaven-awakening devil dragon was in a state of confusion. He thought that the barrier of Yen Dragon City was so strong that it was not something that the Frosty North Dragon Emperor could break through. It seemed that Kong Shin-mu did not need him in the first place. Of course, he quickly figured everything out. If this protective barrier had been so strong from the beginning, the Flame Dragon Emperor would not have been forcibly taken away. Therefore, it was obvious that this protective barrier had been strengthened after Kong Shin-mu returned. It had been modified by someone. As for who modified it, the heaven-awakening devil dragon did not know. Many people thought of this, but they couldn't figure out who was the one who changed the guardian barrier. The Black Divine Dragon unleashed dozens of dragon martial skills in succession, but they could not even shake the protective barrier. He could not help but look extremely grim. Who is protecting you? He could immediately tell that someone had definitely been secretly protecting Kong Shin-mu and modified this protective barrier. I originally did not want to use this move. The Black Divine Dragon's expression was a little grim, but he did not feel helpless. His face darkened and he stared at Kong Shin-mu. Kid, you forced me to do this. In that case, the entire Yen Dragon City will be buried with you. The huge Black Divine Dragon looked at the small Dragon King, Divine Dragon, and even Sky Dragon on the city walls of Yen Dragon City. They were all pointing at him as if they were looking at monkeys, which made him extremely angry. As soon as he said that, the expressions of all the dragon martial artists in Yen Dragon City changed. It sounded like this guy had some extremely powerful means. He actually said that the entire Yen Dragon City would be buried with him. This was simply unimaginable. Moreover, what if what the other party said was true? Would the entire city really be buried with Kong Shin-mu? Everyone's faces turned ugly. The Dark Dragon Monarch's words caused everyone in the city to feel a little panicky. Kong Shin-mu narrowed his eyes. The other party seemed to have some special means. However, this method could not be used easily, because the destructive power was too great. It could even destroy the entire Yen Dragon City. Chapter 4363. The bead was only about the size of a human head, but it continued to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the air, gradually condensing into a stronger and stronger spiritual energy storm. This spiritual energy storm merged with the power of the Black Dragon Emperor, forming a larger and larger black storm. The power of the black storm grew from weak to strong. In the beginning, even Kong Shinmu did not feel threatened. But as it absorbed more and more spiritual energy of heaven and earth, Kong Shinmu felt threatened. The reincarnation tribulation realm dragon king in the city also felt threatened. Then, even the Beihan Dragon Emperor and the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon felt threatened. The threat grew from weak to strong. Not long after, the Beihan Dragon Emperor and the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon felt that if they were sucked into the Black Storm, they would not survive for even a moment. When the Black Storm expanded to thousands of feet, everyone's expressions changed. The Beihan Dragon Emperor should be happy to see this, but he could not be happy now. Because if this Black Storm really destroyed the entire Yen Dragon City, then he would have to clean up the mess left behind. He felt that this kind of thankless task was the most difficult to deal with. The key was that if Yen Dragon City was gone, the Yen Dragon Emperor's court would definitely become very chaotic. He would not be able to get any benefits. For a moment, the Beihan Dragon Emperor's expression was gloomy. But the current situation was no longer something he could control. Everything depended on how the mysterious Black Dragon Emperor would deal with it. For the Beihan Dragon Emperor, the best thing was for Kong Shinmu to come out and die himself. He did not want Yen Dragon City to die with him. That would not be good for Kong Shinmu. In Yen Dragon City, Kong Shinmu also narrowed his eyes. This situation was beyond his expectations. The black-robed dragon warrior was indeed unable to break through the defensive barrier that Dean Shi had modified, but he used this method that even Dean Shi had not expected. He gathered the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and integrated it with his own power. If this was a normal battle, it would be impossible for this guy to have the opportunity to absorb and condense the spiritual energy of the world. But now, Kong Shinmu and the others were all holed up in Fiery Dragon City, giving the enemy a chance to accumulate strength. Using this method, the other party was able to absorb and condense the heaven and earth spiritual qi at an extremely fast speed. Kong Shinmu was unable to stop it at all. He could only watch helplessly as the other party condensed more and more energy. At this time, different voices began to appear in Flame Dragon City. It was not a problem for the other dragon warriors to support Jiang Shenwu. At least when they were not in any danger, it was not a problem. Humans are selfish, and the dragon martial artists are the same. Moreover, in the entire Flame Dragon City, apart from the dragon martial artists themselves, there were also many of their relatives and friends who lived here. If Flame Dragon City was destroyed, how big of a deal would that be? Bring Kong Shinmu out, or I'll send all of you to heaven. The pitch-black dragon emperor was in the sky, holding the black storm ball that had condensed endless heaven and earth spiritual qi. He sneered at the people in Flame Dragon City. He was asking the other people in Flame Dragon City to take action and bring Kong Shinmu out. Don't act rashly. This person won't dare to destroy Flame Dragon City. Kong Shinmu's face darkened. He saw that the surrounding dragon martial artists were ready to make a move, and his face did not look too good. He had not expected such a situation. However, Dean Emperor Shi had just sent him a message, which was that this person wouldn't dare to destroy Flame Dragon City. It would be fine if it was some small city, but this was the capital of the Dragon Emperor's country. This guy definitely wouldn't dare to destroy it. This was because this person was a Dragon Emperor mentor from Donghuang Yonggu College. Kong Shinmu had not seen this Dragon Emperor mentor before. This was because this Dragon Emperor mentor was a newly promoted Dragon Emperor mentor. He had been training in the Beast Abyss and had just come out not long ago. He had yet to officially teach students. If a Donghuang Yonggu College mentor destroyed the capital of the Dragon Emperor's country, he would definitely be held accountable by the higher-ups. Not only him, but even Zhou Xiaofeng would be in big trouble. Although the Dragon Martial Continent was meant to nurture super divine dragons, where would the geniuses of the Dragon Martial College come from? Of course, they would be geniuses selected from all the Dragon Emperor's countries in the Dragon Martial Continent. If the Dragon Emperor's country was in turmoil or even destroyed, wouldn't there be many geniuses and good seedlings who had the potential to become super divine dragons? Therefore, there were rules from the higher-ups. Even the dean of the Dragon Martial College could not kill the Dragon Emperor on the outside, let alone destroy the capital of the Dragon Emperor's country. When he received this news, Kong Shinmu heaved a sigh of relief. At least the risk of Fiery Dragon City being destroyed was not that high. This black-robed Dragon Emperor turned out to be a newly promoted mentor of Donghuang Yongwu College. He did not expect Zhuo Xiaofeng to use him. However, Kong Shinmu's sigh of relief did not seem to be of any use, because no one else knew about this. Therefore, Kong Shinmu could only shout out that this person would definitely not dare to destroy Fiery Dragon City. However, it did not seem to have much effect on him. After he shouted out that sentence, the surrounding dragon martial artists were indeed slightly stunned. After all, his expression when he shouted that sentence was on point and sounded very reliable. However, immediately after that, the black-robed Dragon Emperor snorted coldly and said, "Everyone, what are you hesitating for? Take a good look and see what this is." After saying that, a token appeared above his divine dragon body, and the words, Donghuang, were imprinted on the token. Many people in Fiery Dragon City knew that Kong Shinmu had joined Donghuang Yongwu College and became a student of Donghuang Yongwu College. Therefore, when they saw the two words, Donghuang, imprinted on the token, their expressions changed slightly. Could it be that someone from Donghuang Yongwu College had come to capture Kong Shinmu? Donghuang Yongwu College's student Kong Shinmu has defected and committed a grave mistake. Today, I am under the dean's orders to capture this traitor. Anyone who dares to stop me will be killed without mercy. The black-robed Dragon Emperor's stern shout and cold snort caused everyone's expression to change drastically. Kong Shinmu was actually a traitor of Donghuang Yongwu College. This guy had defected from Donghuang Yongwu College? And the person they had thought to be the bad guy turned out to be someone from Donghuang Yongwu College, who had come under the dean's orders to capture Kong Shinmu. I'm sorry to have taken your emperor, the Fiery Dragon Emperor, away previously. But this was entirely to lure Kong Shinmu out. Otherwise, he would continue to hide and get away with it. The black-robed Dragon Emperor said with a cold smile. He saw that many people in Fiery Dragon City were visibly shaken after hearing his words. Originally, those dragon martial artists would not have attacked Kong Shinmu at all. But after hearing this, they all felt that this time, Kong Shinmu seemed to have harmed them. Even the heaven-opening devil dragon's expression darkened. The reason why he had come out to help Kong Shinmu, even at the cost of fighting the Beihan Dragon Emperor, was because he knew that Kong Shinmu was a student of Donghuang Yongwu College. At the critical moment of the battle, Kong Shinmu would definitely call for the tutors of Donghuang Yongwu College to help him. Chapter 4364. This also meant that Kong Shinmu no longer had the tutors of Donghuang Yongwu College backing him up. No wonder this kid needed to rely on the Guardian formation to defend himself instead of calling for the tutors of Donghuang Yongwu College. This kid betrayed Donghuang Yongwu College. He's a traitor of the college. Many people around Kong Shinmu looked at him with malicious intent. After the words of the Black Dragon Emperor, Kong Shinmu immediately became the target of public criticism. It was he who betrayed Donghuang Yongwu College and even went into hiding, causing the Yen Dragon Emperor to be captured. And it was Kong Shinmu who killed one of the 12 Yen Dragon envoys. This was something that Kong Shinmu had not expected. The Black Dragon Monarch first pretended that it was going to destroy the entire Fire Dragon City, and it had indeed gathered enough power. If it continued to gather more power, destroying the entire Fire Dragon City wouldn't just be a joke. This guy could really do it. This was a threat. Under the fear of Yen Dragon City being destroyed, many people did not have the time to think about it. Therefore, the Black Dragon Emperor took the opportunity to say that Kong Shinmu was a defector of Donghuang Yongwu College. This successfully transferred all the hatred to Kong Shinmu. Without a doubt, Kong Shinmu had not expected this. At this moment, whether it was the powerful dragon martial artists of the Yen Dragon Emperor's court, Elder Xueqi from the Northern Chill Dragon Country, or even the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon, they were all sizing up Kong Shinmu with a different gaze. Brother Jiang, I'm sorry. The strongest person in the crowd was the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon. Many people looked at him, as if hoping that he would come forward to resolve this matter. The Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon's expression was a little ugly. This time, Brother Jiang has really tricked us badly. You actually betrayed Donghuang Yongwu College. Although I don't know the reason, I have to hand you over now. To everyone present, Donghuang Yongwu College was the strongest existence in the world. They did not know that there were 4 dragon martial academies in this world. Even Donghuang Yongwu College was only known after the Yan Dragon Emperor dynasty produced Kong Shin Mu. Only after the rise of Kong Shin Mu did they know that there was a Donghuang Yongwu College in the mainland, which was the most powerful organization in the world. Now, Kong Shin Mu had betrayed Donghuang Yongwu College. Wasn't this too disappointing? Although they did not know the reason, they could not understand it no matter how hard they tried. After all, how many people dreamed of entering Donghuang Yongwu College? Kong Shin Mu and Ran Ran stood together and did not speak. In fact, they were indeed traitors of Donghuang Yongwu College. The dean of Donghuang Yongwu College, Xueqi, was indeed arresting them. However, he did not know how to tell the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon and the others what kind of person Xueqi, the dean of Donghuang Yongwu College, was. He could not tell them about Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy now. Otherwise, Xueqi would be a little wary, and it would be even more impossible for him to appear in front of Kong Shin Mu. Do I really have to let Dean Emperor Shi take action now? Kong Shin Mu thought to himself. Because if Dean Emperor Shi did not take action, he would be captured by the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon and the others. Then, he would be sent out of the protective array of Fiery Dragon City, and fall into the hands of the Dark Dragon Emperor. What should he do now? Just as the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was about to take action and restrain Kong Shin Mu, and Kong Shin Mu was hesitating about whether to let Dean Emperor Shi take action. Suddenly, an incomparably tyrannical aura, accompanied by a terrifying whirlwind, appeared in the field. There were several demonic winds blowing from all directions. With lightning speed, they actually blew away the dark storm that the Dark Dragon Emperor had condensed in an instant. It turned into endless spiritual energy and exploded. The appearance of the demonic winds immediately caused the expressions of everyone in the field to change drastically. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the demonic winds immediately transformed into the figures of several giant demonic beasts. Each demonic beast was a strange existence that they had never seen before. There was a total of 5 demonic beasts, and they were all demon emperors. Although they were demon emperors whose blood essence was not too high, they were all existences at the peak of the reincarnation tribulation realm. Each demon emperor's combat power was extremely strong. One demon emperor might not be a match for the Dark Dragon Emperor. After all, he was a mentor of the Dragon Emperor. However, if they were added together, the Black Dragon Emperor would definitely not be able to withstand it. As soon as they appeared, they directly shattered the dark storm that the Dark Dragon Emperor had condensed for a while, causing him to lose the ability to continue to threaten Fiery Dragon City. Then, they surrounded the Dark Dragon Emperor. Who are you? The Dark Dragon Emperor's face suddenly darkened. He had never expected that demonic beasts would appear at such a critical moment to cause trouble. One should know that the 4 Dragon Martial Academies were completely above the demonic beast forces. Even the strongest demonic beast force in the Dragon Martial continent did not dare to attack the mentor of the Donghuang Yongwu College. What was going on now? We are only here to rescue our juniors. The 5 Beast Emperors spoke calmly, as they had already gained the upper hand. Rescue juniors? No one knew who the juniors they were talking about were. Could it be Kong Shin Mu? Kong Shin Mu was the junior of the demonic beasts. The expressions of everyone present became strange. Even Kong Shin Mu was confused. What was going on? Why would demonic beasts appear at this time? And there were 5 demon emperors. No one had seen these 5 demon emperors before, and they were extremely powerful. Their demonic beast bloodlines were much purer than the Heaven Awakening Dragon. If the Heaven Awakening Dragon was equivalent to the 2nd level of the Dragon Emperor's blood essence, then these 5 demon emperors were equivalent to the 4th level of the Dragon Emperor's blood essence. Fighting one-on-one, they were still not that Dragon Emperor's 5th level's pitch black Dragon Emperor's match. However, if the 5 demon emperors joined forces, it would be extremely easy for them to suppress the Black Dragon Emperor. Then the question came, who was the junior that they wanted to rescue? Kong Shin Mu had a bewildered look. Right at this time, Ran Ran suddenly said, "It wouldn't be the Ink Nightmare Beast, right?" She could only think of the Ink Nightmare Beast. When in the Boundary Division Forest, it was the Ink Nightmare Beast's appearance that made the demonic beasts in the Boundary Division Forest attack together, attacking the dragon martial artists that came out of the Immortal Grove Dragon Empire's crossing city. To say that there were demon emperors appearing together now, saying that they wanted to rescue juniors, it was probably really that ink nightmare beast. Looking at the current situation, the status of the ink nightmare beast among the demonic beasts was indeed not low. But Chapter 4365. If they were so capable, it would not have been Kong Shinmu, Ran, and the Fire Phoenix Princess who had saved the Centipede Ink Beast. Instead, it would have been these demon emperors who had rescued the Centipede Ink Beast from the caravan of dragon martial artists. Kong Shinmu did not understand. He could only start to think about whether this had something to do with Headmaster Emperor Shi. Headmaster Emperor Shi saw that he could not hold them off, so he went to get 5 demon emperors to stabilize the situation and see if he could lure Zhuo Xiaofeng out. Moreover, Kong Shinmu did have a Centipede Ink Beast with him. The appearance of these 5 demon emperors was also reasonable. Zhuo Xiaofeng might not suspect that someone was behind this. No matter what, now 5 demon emperors had appeared, and they were on Kong Shinmu's side. This situation instantly turned the situation around. Each of the 5 demon emperors was much stronger than the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon. The Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon originally wanted to capture Kong Shinmu, but now he stopped and did not dare to act rashly. There was an inexplicable expression on his face. This time, he was really confused. What the hell was going on? Before figuring out the situation, the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon could not capture Kong Shinmu and send him out of the protective barrier. After all, the 5 demon emperors were demonic beasts like him. Compared to the dragon martial artist, these 5 demon sovereigns gave him a very amiable feeling. The heaven-opening rogue dragon had never seen any demon sovereigns stronger than him. The main reason was that each of these 5 demon sovereigns was much stronger than him, and they could easily crush him. Therefore, he wanted to make friends with them. Under such circumstances, it was obviously not appropriate to have a conflict with Kong Shinmu. If the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon did not make a move, it was even more impossible for the other dragon martial artists to make a move. Anyway, the threat of the Flame Dragon City had been dispersed by the 5 demon emperors. At this moment, they just needed to sit back and watch the situation develop. There were so many terrifying and powerful existences in the field. The situation was no longer something that the small dragon martial artists could control. They did not even have the right to get involved. When everyone in the Flame Dragon City began to watch the show, the pitch-black Dragon Emperor was almost furious. What was going on? What kind of demon emperor would dare to interfere? They were looking down on Donghuang Yanggu College. Aren't you worried that our Donghuang deans will blame you? The Black Dragon Emperor snorted coldly and threatened the 5 powerful demon emperors surrounding him. He was not worried that the 5 demon emperors would attack him. After all, even if they did attack him, he would not lose his life. He had many ways to escape. But now, it was a big problem that he couldn't catch Kong Shinmu. The 5 demon emperors said that they wanted to save their juniors. The question was, who were their juniors? Unfortunately, the 5 demon emperors did not bother to talk to him at all. The pitch-black Dragon Emperor did not even know where the 5 demon emperors came from. He was immediately surrounded by them. The 5 demon emperors' powerful demonic powers swept across the sky and swept towards the pitch-black Dragon Emperor. Instructor Black Dragon Emperor immediately displayed his defensive dragon martial technique in an attempt to resist the joint attack of the other party. However, it was 5 against 1, and their realms were not much different, so Instructor Black Dragon Emperor was unable to completely resist the other party's attack. Endless demonic wind, demonic fire, and demonic lightning arrived and broke through the pitch-black Dragon Emperor's dragon defense technique instantly. Then, his divine dragon body was heavily smashed to the ground. The pitch-black Dragon Emperor was in an extremely sorry state. His entire body was burnt, charred, and his dragon scales were scratched by the wind blades. His injuries were not serious, but they made him look very ugly. Moreover, the 5 demon emperors did not stop attacking him, causing him to be continuously smashed down from the sky. Soon, he smashed into the vast plains outside the Flame Dragon City, creating a deep pit. Looking at this scene, everyone swallowed their saliva. The Frosty North Dragon Emperor was outside with his majestic army of dragon martial artists. But now, he looked extremely desolate. He did not dare to interfere in this battle at all. Seeing the pitch-black Dragon Emperor being smashed into the ground and creating a deep pit, the Frosty North Dragon Emperor froze. He did not know what to do. You guys are too much. The pitch-black dragon emperor spat out a mouthful of blood and cursed angrily. Kong Shinmu was stunned. This scene was completely beyond his expectations. He was sure that these 5 demon emperors were definitely called over by Dean Emperor Shi from somewhere. As for saving their descendants, who was he kidding? Up until now, Kong Shinmu had not sensed any movement from the Nightmare Ink beasts. It was obvious that they did not know these 5 demon emperors. The Nightmare Ink beasts were not considered a noble demonic beast race. It was impossible for them to let these 5 demon emperors come out of their nest and go against Donghuang Yongwu College. If they dared to go against Donghuang Yongwu College, there must be some other expert who had promised to help them settle the trouble from Donghuang Yongwu College. Apart from Dean Emperor Shi, Kong Shinmu could not think of anyone else who was qualified to make such a promise. Amazing! Kong Shinmu sighed in his heart. Dean Emperor Shi was indeed Dean Emperor Shi. He could casually call over 5 top-notch demon emperors to help and beat up the pitch-black dragon emperor, until he was foaming at the mouth. Under such circumstances, the pitch-black dragon emperor could either escape first and think of a way to capture Kong Shinmu. But as the representative of Donghuang Yongwu College, if he escaped just like that, how would he have the face to come back here? That would be a disgrace to Donghuang Yongwu College. The pitch-black dragon emperor hardened his heart. He felt that there was only one way to go, and that was to call for backup. Even if his face was beaten swollen, it was impossible for him to escape. He had been in Donghuang Yongwu College for so many years and was unparalleled in the beast abyss. In his eyes, the word escape had never existed. Therefore, he finally began to call for backup. How dare you offend Donghuang Yongwu College? You are dead meat. This Kong Shinmu is a little thief that our Dean Zhua has ordered to arrest. You dare to stop him? You are really seeking death. The pitch-black dragon emperor shouted angrily. The token engraved with the words, Donghuang, finally shone with a strange light. Immediately after, an incomparably strong aura appeared near the space-time power outlined by the token. An incomparably elegant and strong humanoid figure appeared before everyone's eyes. As soon as this person appeared, he attracted everyone's attention. Because his aura was too strong. Even if everyone present combined their aura, they would not be able to match this person's aura. Super Divine Dragon. Zhua Xiaofeng. Even if he had not transformed into a divine dragon, his aura at this moment was enough to crush everyone present. One sentence was enough to control the entire situation. Zhua Xiaofeng. The expressions of Kong Shinmu and Ran Ran changed slightly. Chapter 4366. Although Dean Emperor Shi had invited the 5 demon emperors to put on a show and successfully lure the other party here, Kong Shinmu had succeeded this time. Speaking of which, Kong Shinmu felt that he did not play any role in the entire matter. Whether it was the modification of the Guardian Array or the invitation of the 5 demon emperors, it was all Dean Emperor Shi's help. Without Dean Emperor Shi's help, this matter would not have been so easy to resolve. Since Zhua Xiaofeng had appeared, Kong Shinmu had nothing to worry about. Next, he only needed to watch the show and wait for Dean Emperor Shi to teach Zhua Xiaofeng a lesson and make him hand over Dragon Emperor Yan and the others. When Zhua Xiaofeng walked out of the void, his long hair fluttered behind him. His indifferent eyes were filled with anger. He did not seem to have expected that sending Dragon Emperor Mentor here to capture Kong Shinmu would cause so much trouble. What was so difficult about this matter? When Zhua Xiaofeng appeared, he only glanced at the 5 demon emperors. The 5 demon emperors immediately retreated quickly like birds and beasts, hiding in the white clouds in the sky. They could only see the vague figures of the 5 demon emperors in the white clouds. When Zhua Xiaofeng appeared, they did not dare to be arrogant at all. The pitch-black Dragon Emperor Mentor finally removed his Dragon Emperor form and became a black-robed middle-aged man. He patted his buttocks and flew up from the deep pit on the ground to stand behind Zhua Xiaofeng. Dean! The black-robed middle-aged Dragon Emperor Mentor bowed respectfully to Zhua Xiaofeng. Useless! Zhua Xiaofeng's tone was light, but it made Dragon Emperor Mentor feel so ashamed that he could not show his face. For Dragon Emperor Mentor, a super divine dragon like Zhua Xiaofeng was definitely their idol and the goal they had to chase after. No matter which Dragon Emperor Mentor it was, their goal was to become a super divine dragon. Therefore, in their eyes, Zhua Xiaofeng was an existence that could not be blasphemed. At this moment, Xueqi said that he was trash, so he could only grit his teeth and accept it. Because he really didn't do a good job in this matter. Of course, he didn't know that he couldn't do a good job in this matter. It was because he wanted to capture Kong Xinmu. Behind Kong Xinmu stood a figure that he could not afford to offend. Xueqi appeared. With his hands behind his back and his long hair fluttering in the wind, he scared off the 5 demon emperors with a single glance. Immediately after, he flew to the sky above Fiery Dragon City, looked down, and saw Jiang Shenwu in the middle of the crowd at a glance. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Jiang Shenwu, don't you like to run? Let me try another one? When Kong Xinmu was at Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, Xueqi would never dare to cause trouble. But this time, he had schemed to take Dragon Emperor Yan away. When Kong Xinmu returned to the Yan Dragon Emperor Empire, he would definitely not be able to hold himself back. Now, Kong Xinmu finally appeared in front of Xueqi again. In Xueqi's eyes, Kong Xinmu was like a grasshopper whose legs were caught by him. There was no way for him to escape. When Xueqi appeared, the super divine dragon's aura descended on the entire city. Everything within a radius of thousands of miles was enveloped by his aura. Countless dragon martial arts practitioners felt his aura and could not help but kneel down. Super Divine Dragon. This was a super powerful existence that few people in the Donghuang Dragon Martial City could see. His aura was above all the Dragon Emperors. Even 10 or 100 Dragon Emperors combined could not compare to him. At this moment, the appearance of the Super Divine Dragon in Fiery Dragon City made everyone around want to worship him. Of course, that was except for Kong Xinmu. Kong Xinmu looked at Xueqi's confident look and shook his head. From the beginning to the end, I, Kong Xinmu, don't think I've done anything wrong. On the contrary, it was you, Dean Zhua, who had repeatedly targeted me. I still don't know why. Let's talk about it today. Talk about it? Xueqi wanted to laugh when he heard Kong Xinmu's words. What right do you have to talk to me? Xueqi was not the only one who wanted to laugh. The dragon martial arts practitioners around Kong Xinmu were also shocked by Kong Xinmu's words. They were shocked. Kong Xinmu, a mere dragon king, actually had the guts to talk to such an existence like this? He didn't even have the slightest hint of respect in his words. The only you in his words even carried a hint of mockery. This Kong Xinmu was too bold, wasn't he? At this moment, most of the dragon martial arts practitioners present already knew that this long-haired, arrogant young man was the dean of Donghuang Yonggu College. Such a powerful existence was so young. This undoubtedly subverted the perception of talent of all the dragon martial arts practitioners in Fiery Dragon City. This was a real peerless genius. What was Kong Xinmu compared to him? Although Kong Xinmu was still just a teenager, they felt that even if Kong Xinmu was given more time, it was basically impossible for him to grow to the same level of strength as the dean. That was far beyond the level of the Dragon Emperor. Not to mention 1 or 2 Dragon Emperors. Even if there were more Dragon Emperors, they would not be a match for him. That was a crushing of absolute power. Otherwise, why would the 5 Demon Emperors hide far away when they saw the dean and did not dare to appear again? Destroy it for me. As Xueqi spoke softly, he did not even transform into his divine dragon form. He merely raised his hand and a ball of flame appeared from the flame defense barrier outside Fiery Dragon City. Immediately after, the entire barrier was set ablaze and burned to ashes in an instant. The powerful defense barrier that had originally completely blocked the pitch-black Dragon Emperor was broken in front of Xueqi as if the defense barrier had never existed. When the defense barrier faded, Kong Xinmu and the many dragon martial arts practitioners were no longer isolated from the outside world. At this moment, even if the pitch-black Dragon Emperor were to attack, he could easily capture or kill Kong Xinmu. Hey see, I'll leave it to you. Xueqi looked at Kong Xinmu calmly and did not bother to do it himself. To him, dealing with a small dragon king like Kong Xinmu was really embarrassing. The black-robed middle-aged Dragon Emperor instructor behind him immediately responded, Yes, Dean. After all, he had the cultivation of the 7th level of the rebirth tribulation state and was at the 5th level of the Dragon Emperor's blood essence. This was enough for him to crush all the powerhouses in the outside world. He looked at Kong Xinmu again. This time, there was no longer that hateful defense barrier. Chapter 4367. The middle-aged Dragon Emperor instructor in black was too lazy to transform into his divine dragon form. Although he could only exert less than 30% of his strength without transforming into a dragon, he believed that he did not need to use 30% of his strength to deal with Kong Shin-mu. As for the dragon warriors around Kong Shin-mu on the city wall of Yen Dragon City, which one of them was worthy of his attention? With Zhuo Xiaofeng present, no one dared to act rashly. Black Dragon instructor He-Si snorted coldly and flew straight towards Kong Shin-mu, wanting to capture him. He-Si came very quickly. Everyone only saw a black shadow flying quickly towards Kong Shin-mu, and a wave of black samsara force condensed into a big hand, grabbing towards Kong Shin-mu and ran. However, at this very moment, He-Si's figure suddenly flew backwards at an even faster speed, as if he had been hammered by something. His whole body flew into the sky, even farther than the 5 demon emperors who were hiding. Moreover, he spat out a mouthful of blood directly on the grass outside the city gate, dyeing a large area red. Everyone looked at this scene, and their expressions were almost lifeless. What was going on? Even the super divine dragons Zhuo Xiaofeng had arrived, and there was still someone who dared to cause trouble. Moreover, he even sent the black dragon instructor flying, as if he had just slapped him. What kind of strength was this? Perhaps only an existence at Zhuo Xiaofeng's level could do this, right? As expected. When Zhuo Xiaofeng saw He-Si being slapped away by the force from the void, his expression became extremely ugly. There were some things that he had not been able to figure out, but now he had figured it out all at once. No wonder Kong Shin-mu dared to come back alone, and even dared to cause trouble in Yen Dragon City. No wonder such a simple matter could not be done properly by He-Si, and there were problems repeatedly. It turned out that she was involved. At the moment when He-Si was slapped away, Zhuo Xiaofeng felt a familiar aura of power. That power definitely came from the Dean of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Everyone around thought that when Black 4 was sent flying, Zhuo Xiaofeng would definitely fly into a rage out of humiliation. Then, he would probably fight with a mysterious person hiding in the dark. But what everyone didn't expect was, when Black 4 was slapped away, Zhuo Xiaofeng turned around and planned to escape without any hesitation. He turned around, his long hair fluttering behind him. His elegant figure left a series of afterimages behind him. Obviously, he wanted to quickly leave this place. Unfortunately, just as he was about to escape, a red figure appeared in his path of escape. The figure in red was a little far away from the people of Fiery Dragon City, so they could not see him clearly. However, judging from his aura, he had completely crushed Zhuo Xiaofeng. Kong Shin-mu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the figure in red. It was the red-clothed beautiful headmaster of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy. Now that she had appeared, things would be much easier to handle. All right, let's go. Everything is fine here. Kong Shin-mu finally waved his hand and said to the people around him, "Everyone, just wait for Dragon Emperor Yen to be released. As for Senior Fiery Dragon Envoy who was killed, I will also strive to seek justice for him." After saying this, he took Ran and flew towards the place where Headmaster Emperor Shi was. Obviously, Zhuo Xiaofeng did not dare to fight with Headmaster Emperor Shi, so it was safe for Kong Shin-mu to go over. Soon, Kong Shin-mu brought Ran to Headmaster Emperor Shi's side. She was dressed in red and had a beautiful face. She crossed her arms in front of her chest and looked at Zhuo Xiaofeng with a smile. "What a coincidence, Zhuo Xiaofeng. We meet again." Headmaster Emperor Shi's eyes bloomed with a smile. He looked at Zhuo Xiaofeng, but there was obvious disgust in the depths of his eyes. It was obvious that Headmaster Emperor Shi did not have a good impression of Zhuo Xiaofeng. "Yu Yaji, this has nothing to do with you." Zhuo Xiaofeng snorted coldly. "Do you really want to go against me? Why does it have nothing to do with me?" Headmaster Emperor Shi's beautiful eyebrows raised. "Since you dare to have designs on Yu Tianchong, will you not dare to face me?" "Yu Yaji? He had designs on Yu Tianchong?" When Kong Shin-mu heard this, he suddenly had a feeling of realization. Yu Yaji and Yu Tianchong both had the surname Yu. The surname Yu was not common in the Dragon Martial Continent. It was obviously not a coincidence that both of them had the same surname. Moreover, when Yu Tianchong gave him the token of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, he felt that something was wrong. If he just admired Yu Tianchong, there was no need to return the token to her. After all, She had already chosen to join Donghuang Yonggu College. Now it seemed that Headmaster Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, Xueqi, and Yu Tianchong had a very close relationship. Sisters? This should not be possible. After all, there seemed to be a big age gap between them. It was not that Xueqi was a little old, but that Xueqi was too mature, too mature. Yu Tianchong was originally very talented. There was no reason that when Xueqi became a super divine dragon, Yu Tianchong was still challenging the #1 student in Donghuang Yonggu College. Then between the two of them, could they be mother and daughter? This was possible, but Kong Xinmu could not be sure now, so he simply stopped guessing. The only question now was why Yu Tianchong joined Donghuang Yonggu College when she had such a close person in Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy? Kong Xinmu could not understand this now. Now, Kong Xinmu finally knew why Headmaster Emperor Shi had been helping him. Logically speaking, it was not necessary. Now it seemed that she wanted to take this opportunity to give Zhuo Xiaofeng a good warning, so that he would not have any designs on Yu Tianchong. Kong Xinmu's matter was just Xueqi's help. She could also use this matter to threaten Zhuo Xiaofeng. Xueqi, I did not force your niece to do anything. Zhuo Xiaofeng snorted coldly. Even if something happens in the future, it will be consensual. You have no right to stop us. Shut up. Hearing Zhuo Xiaofeng's words, Xueqi's smiling face suddenly darkened. This heavy "shut up" made Zhuo Xiaofeng immediately stop talking. He did not dare to say even one more word. No matter what, as long as I find out that you have designs on her again, today's matter will definitely be heard by the Dragon of Calamity. You're on your own. Xueqi, headmaster of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy, sneered. Of course, if you promise not to get close to Yu Tianchong in the future, I will pretend that today's matter never happened. You should understand that you kidnapped Dragon Emperor Yan and killed a Dragon King. This matter is already considered as interfering with the development of the Dragon Emperor's country, and you even hunted down Kong Xinmu, a genius student of Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. If this matter is reported, do you think it will end well for you? It could be seen that Zhuo Xiaofeng's position seemed to be ordinary. At least, after breaking the rules in this matter, he would definitely be severely punished. Kong Xinmu began to speculate in his heart. Zhuo Xiaofeng's situation was a bit complicated, but it could be seen that even the headmaster of Dragon Martial Arts Academy did not have the power to interfere with the development of the Dragon Emperor's country in the Dragon Martial Continent. Chapter 4368. When Xueqi, the dean of Emperor Shi, said this, Zhuo Xiaofeng's face became very ugly. He really did not expect to meet Xueqi here today. Kong Xinmu was at most a Dragon King, and he was only at the 5th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. There were too many students at this level in the Dragon Martial Arts Academy. Even if he showed some unusual talent, he would not be paid so much attention by a dean. But now, Xueqi really followed Kong Xinmu to the Yan Dragon Emperor's court, and she even waited for Zhuo Xiaofeng here. Zhuo Xiaofeng wanted to laugh. He knew that this was probably because of Yu Tianchong. He had ideas about Yu Tianchong, so Xueqi came to warn him. He would not take ordinary warnings to heart. But this time, what he did to Kong Xinmu was really too much. If he reported it, it would not do him any good, and it would definitely bring him huge losses. So, he had to swallow this matter of targeting Kong Xinmu. Zhuo Xiaofeng was also a person who had experienced many things. He quickly figured out the situation and knew what he should do next. So he said in a deep voice, "Okay, then as you said, I will let this guy go this time. In the future, I will not have any ideas about Yu Tianchong. Of course, if this guy provokes me again in the future, I will not be merciful. That's a matter between you two," Xueqi said lightly. "I will arrange for the release of Dragon Emperor Yan and his 11 subordinates. Goodbye." Zhuo Xiaofeng's face darkened, and he turned to leave. This time, Xueqi did not stop him. After all, Zhuo Xiaofeng had already given his choice and answer. Zhuo Xiaofeng could not go back on the 2 things he had promised, otherwise, he would pay a greater price. This matter was finally settled. After Zhuo Xiaofeng left, Xueqi finally turned around and looked at Kong Xinmu. She said apologetically, "Zhuo Xiaofeng's status is not low. Even I can't punish him directly. Even if we report this matter, we won't be able to kill him. Instead, it will cause you and the people around you to face greater danger in the future. So, it's better to use it as a handle to restrain him. Yes. Kong Shinmu nodded, indicating that he understood. Of course, he could not interfere with Yu Yaji's actions. Although he hoped that Yu Yaji would directly report this matter to the higher-ups so that Zhuo Xiaofeng would be punished, what Yu Yaji said was right. After all, it was impossible to put Zhuo Xiaofeng to death in this matter. After reporting it, Zhuo Xiaofeng would definitely not let Kong Shinmu have an easy time. And even Yu Tianchong would be implicated. Yu Tianchong was now in Donghuang Yonggu College. If Zhuo Xiaofeng wanted to do anything to her, no one could stop him. With such a handle on him, it could be regarded as restraining Zhuo Xiaofeng. However, there was no doubt that the Yen Dragon envoy killed by the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor, He Si, would never come back. Kong Shinmu could not take revenge for this matter, and Yu Yaji would not kill a Donghuang Yonggu College mentor for this matter. So if Kong Shinmu wanted to take revenge, he had to rely on himself. The mentor of Donghuang Yonggu College, He Si. The current dean of Donghuang Yonggu College, Zhuo Xiaofeng. These two people. There was a murderous intent in the depths of Kong Shinmu's eyes, but he did not show it at all. He was too weak now. No matter how much he wanted to take revenge, it was impossible. He had to become stronger. Yu Tianchong is my sister's daughter. Yu Yaji suddenly turned her head and said, she should have grown up in our Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Arts College. However, the former dean of Donghuang Yonggu College was her mother's savior. So, she went to join Donghuang Yonggu College, intending to repay him for her mother. Unfortunately, the dean happened to retire at this time, and Zhuo Xiaofeng took over as dean. Hearing this, Kong Shinmu finally knew what was going on with Yu Tianchong. Originally, he thought that things were as Yu Tianchong said. He did not expect that there was more to it. However, at that time, Yu Tianchong took Kong Shinmu to escape from Donghuang Yonggu College, so there was really no need to tell the truth to Kong Shinmu. Anyway, this matter had little to do with Kong Shinmu. Whether she told him or not, it did not matter to him. Yen Dragon Emperor of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty and his 11 subordinates of the Dragon King should be sent back soon. When I see them, I will leave first. Yu Yaji said one last sentence, and then her figure flashed and disappeared in front of Kong Shinmu. If she hid, no one would be able to find her trace. Yu Yaji's purpose of this trip had been achieved. The next step was to wait for Kong Shinmu to be sent back to Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Arts College. Otherwise, if Kong Shinmu were to fly back by himself, he would probably have to fly for a few more months. When things were settled on their side, the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor also left with Zhuo Xiaofeng. The remaining dragon martial artists inside and outside Yen Dragon City were all feeling uneasy. In this confrontation between the super divine dragons, there was no doubt that Kong Shinmu's side had obtained the victory. As for who Yu Yaji was, the people of Yen Dragon City and the northern Chill Dragon Country naturally did not know. However, they saw with their own eyes that when Yu Yaji appeared, Zhuo Xiaofeng, the dean of Donghuang Yonggu College, fled for his life. Obviously, even Zhuo Xiaofeng was afraid of this person. So what if Kong Shinmu betrayed Donghuang Yonggu College? It was obvious that he had found a stronger backer. This made many people sigh. What was wrong with Kong Shinmu? Wherever he went, there were people supporting him. How shameful! However, if such an opportunity was given to everyone present, they believed that no one would refuse it. Everyone present was a little embarrassed. The Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Country was feeling extremely complicated and uneasy. He should have followed the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor to conquer the Yen Dragon Emperor Empire. But now, the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor had run away, and even the dean of Donghuang Yonggu College had run away. He no longer pursued the matter of Kong Shinmu. What should the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor do? The dragon martial artists on the city wall of Yen Dragon City were also feeling very complicated now. They had just thought of kidnapping Kong Shinmu and handing him over to the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor, just because the Black-Robed Dragon Emperor said that Kong Shinmu was a defector from Donghuang Yonggu College. But now, the Donghuang Yonggu College's mentor and dean had run away with their tails between their legs. They did not know who was right and who was wrong in this matter, but the final victor was Jiang Shenwu. This was something that everyone could see clearly. Chapter 4369. On the city wall of Fiery Dragon City, the heaven-opening devil dragon was equally embarrassed. If not for the sudden change in the situation, it was likely that he would have forcefully attacked Jiang Xinwu. The current situation really caused him to feel somewhat ashamed to continue staying. It could even be said that if Jiang Xinwu did not pursue his responsibility, it would already be an extremely good thing. What should he do now? He definitely did not dare to let the heaven-opening devil dragon leave, but staying here would make him look stupid. On the other hand, old Xueqi, who was not far away from the heaven-opening devil dragon, felt lucky to have escaped from death. He did not want to do anything to Kong Xinmu just now. He was very obedient, and the current situation proved that his choice was right. At that time, he admitted that he killed the crown prince of the Beihan region and chose to join the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. Now it seemed that he had made a huge profit. Because Kong Xinmu was the final winner, and the Beihan Dragon Emperor was still here. How could Kong Xinmu let him live? As if realizing this, the Beihan Dragon Emperor looked at Kong Xinmu, who was flying back, and made a prompt decision to escape with his dragon martial artist army. However, Kong Xinmu naturally would not let him go. This incident originally had nothing to do with the Beihan Dragon Emperor, but this guy actually tried to invade the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty again, and even occupied Fiery Dragon City. The Beihan Dragon Emperor must have been prepared to die here. Therefore, when Kong Xinmu flew back and saw the Beihan Dragon Emperor trying to escape, he immediately sneered and ordered the city gate, Qi Tian, and everyone in the Fiery Dragon army, listen up. Stop the Beihan Dragon Emperor. The Beihan Dragon Country was a remote country of the Dragon Emperor. Unlike the countries near the Dragon Academy, there were many Dragon Emperor-level powerhouses. There was only one Dragon Emperor in the Beihan Dragon Country. It was the Dragon Emperor of the Frigid North. If the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor died here, the entire Northern Chill Dragon Country would fall apart. However, this was war, and there was no way to change the outcome. If it wasn't the collapse of the Northern Chill Dragon Country, then it would be the collapse of the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. Comparing the two outcomes, Kong Xinmu would definitely prefer the former. If he didn't kill the Dragon Emperor this time, who knew what he would do next time? When the Beihan Dragon Emperor tried to sneak away, Kong Xinmu ordered the heaven-opening demon dragon to intercept him. At this time, how could the heaven-opening demonic dragon not give it his all? At this moment, the entire Yen Dragon Emperor's court seemed to be on steroids as they followed the heaven-opening rogue dragon and flew out of Yen Dragon City. Now, Kong Xinmu is amazing. Even the dean of Donghuang Yanggu College couldn't do anything to him. The captured Yen Dragon Emperor and the Yen Dragon envoys would be sent back soon. This was unimaginable. This Kong Xinmu was just an ordinary young dragon warrior in the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. However, in a short time at this moment, the level that Kong Xinmu came into contact with had far surpassed the Yen Dragon Emperor's court, and even all the people in the surrounding Dragon Emperor kingdom. The heaven-opening demon dragon chased after the Dragon Emperor in a frenzy. The Dragon Emperor originally wanted to sneak away, but he was followed by a large group of dragon warriors. How could he leave quietly with such a large group of dragon warriors? When the heaven-opening demon dragon led the Yen Dragon Emperor's court to chase after the dragon warriors, the Dragon Emperor made up his mind and turned back with a cold expression. He wanted to risk his life and take as many as he could. Now the Dragon Emperor knew that he had kicked an iron plate this time. Who would have known that Kong Xinmu had a stronger backer? But it was too late to regret now. He knew that Kong Xinmu would not let him go. After all, this was not the first time he had offended the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. But he would not give up without putting up a fight. He wanted to kill to his heart's content before he died. He wanted to kill as many as he could. Unfortunately, just as he was thinking about this, the clouds in the surrounding sky suddenly shook. Endless storms, lightning, ice, and fire burst out from the sky and swept down. The 5 demon emperors had been hiding in the clouds in the sky. Now that Zhuo Xiaofeng had left, they finally appeared again. We are here to save our descendants. The 5 demon emperors with different shapes and different bloodlines shouted at this moment. They rushed down from the clouds and attacked the group of Beihan Dragon Emperor's group. Although Kong Xinmu did not know who their descendants were, the momentum they had when they rushed up was really scary. Originally, they were here to resist the black-robed Dragon Emperor. Now, it couldn't be any easier for them to deal with the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. Now they also recognized Kong Xinmu. This young dragon warrior was a genius that Xueqi thought highly of. She even stayed in the Yen Dragon City to wait for him. This showed how important Kong Xinmu's status was. These 5 demon emperors could be regarded as the top existences among the demon cultivators in the whole dragon martial continent. Of course, they knew what Xueqi's identity represented. Therefore, they also wanted to help Jiang Xinwu and become familiar with him. Who knows, they might even get a lot of benefits in the future. Originally, when the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon led the Yen Dragon Emperor's army toward the Dragon Warriors, Beihan Dragon Emperor and the others wanted to fight to the death. However, when the 5 demon emperors rushed down from the clouds and their violent power shrouded the whole area, everyone, including Beihan Dragon Emperor, collapsed at once. 1 dragon emperor against 5 demon emperors? How could they fight? These 5 demon emperors were not ordinary demon emperors. Each of the 5 demon emperors could fight against 5 northern chill dragon emperors alone. How could the northern chill dragon emperor and his dragon martial warrior army be a match for them? Without thinking, Beihan Dragon Emperor knelt down in the direction of Kong Xinmu. Young Master Jiang, please spare my life. I cough. I know I was wrong. I will join the Yen Dragon Emperor's court in the future, and I will not dare to be disloyal. As he knelt in the air, the dragon martialists behind him also did the same. Instantly, they all knelt in the air in the direction of Jiang Xinwu. This situation gave everyone a fright. The 5 martial dominator beasts stopped their attacks and glanced at Jiang Xinwu, as if they were asking for his opinion. Seeing this, Kong Xinmu felt a little flattered. These 5 demon emperors were not ordinary. Now, was he going to order them? Although he felt a little strange and embarrassed, Kong Xinmu still tried to say, "Then kill Beihan Dragon Emperor. As for the others, don't kill them. After all, they are not the masterminds." Chapter 4370. Even though the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor was in charge of the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor's country, he was still at the bottom of the emperors in the eyes of the truly powerful cultivators. Any one of the 5 demon emperors could easily crush the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor. Among the Dragon Emperors, the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor was the weakest. He was one of the 5 demon emperors, so he was turned into a pile of charcoal with a single strike of lightning. He didn't even have time to transform into a dragon before he lost his life. The Dragon Emperor of the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor died so easily that no one could react in time. Then, the Dragon Martial Artist Army of the Northern Chill Dragon Country knelt before Kong Xinmu. The Dragon Martial Artist Army commanders and deputy commanders all took a step forward and swore that they were willing to work for the Yen Dragon Emperor's court from now on. They were doing this for the sake of their friends and family in the Northern Chill Dragon Country. If they didn't obey, the Yen Dragon Emperor's court would definitely attack the Northern Chill Dragon Country and kill everyone there. However, if they obeyed now, when the Yen Dragon Emperor's court took over the Northern Chill Dragon Country, they would definitely be much gentler and less people would suffer. Now that the Northern Chill Dragon Emperor was dead, the Northern Chill Dragon Country would definitely be taken over by the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. Of course, the Yen Dragon Emperor's court didn't necessarily need such a large territory. After all, the larger the territory, the more difficult it was to manage. It was all up to Kong Xinmu. What about the extra Northern Chill Dragon Country? Kong Xinmu felt a headache coming on. He knew that the Yen Dragon Emperor had no interest in expanding his territory, and neither did Kong Xinmu. What was the point of expanding his territory? At most, he would get some more cultivation resources. In order to obtain these cultivation resources, he would definitely have to assign more powerful cultivators to guard and manage the territory. As for the experts who were sent to guard and manage the place, they naturally needed more cultivation resources as well. In the long run, the Dragon Emperor at the top did not get any substantial benefits at all. Of course, unless he was like the Dragon Emperor of the Beihan region, who wanted to rule the land he occupied and take all cultivation resources. But then, it would be difficult for the Dragon Emperor, who had lost the people's support, to go further. After all, the cultivation resources that the Dragon Emperor's country could produce were limited. If all of them were taken away by the Dragon Emperor, the dragon warriors under him would not be able to improve their strength, and that would cause a huge problem. Once the other countries of the Dragon Emperor came to invade, they basically couldn't resist. Losing a large piece of territory was still acceptable. It was normal for the Dragon Emperor of the Northern Frost to lose his life like this. I can ask the Donghuang Yanggu College to send a Dragon Emperor to take over. At this time, Yu Yaji's words came to Kong Shinmu's ears. Some countries of the Dragon Emperor are guarded by several Dragon Emperors, but these Dragon Emperors are not willing to share a country of the Dragon Emperor. Now that the territory of the Beihan Dragon Country is empty, there are a lot of Dragon Emperors who want to take over. Although this place is a bit remote, it produces a lot of cultivation resources. Yu Yaji's words made Kong Shinmu feel relieved. Since she was willing to handle this matter, she would definitely be able to handle it properly. If the Beihan Dragon Country had a new Dragon Emperor, it might not be called the Beihan Dragon Country anymore. Of course, this had nothing to do with Kong Shinmu. When the Dragon Emperor of the Beihan Dragon Country died, one of the 5 demon emperors transformed into a green lizard man and came to Kong Shinmu. It was this Thunder Lizard Man who had just killed the Dragon Emperor of the Beihan Dragon Country. I am the Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor. You are a genius. The Thunder Lizard Man came to Kong Shinmu and laughed heartily. Then he said, if you want to return to this place from the west in the future, you can come to the Boundary Forest to look for me. We demons also have an ancient space-time array that can allow you to travel back and forth. It will save you time. Thank you, Senior Demon Emperor. Kong Shinmu was flattered. This guy's strength was almost on par with the great mentors of the Dragon Martial Academy. The Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor would not take an ordinary Dragon Emperor seriously at all. Now that the Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor was so polite to Kong Shinmu really did not expect it. Most importantly, the Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor was willing to provide the ancient space-time array in the Boundary Forest so that he could travel back to the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. This undoubtedly solved one of Kong Shinmu's troubles. The ancient space-time array that was closest to the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty seemed to be located near the Demon Emperor Dragon Country. There, Kong Shinmu had been chased by a powerhouse. However, so much time had passed, and the other party had probably given up on hunting him down. The world was so big. How could the other party know where Kong Shinmu had gone? They probably wouldn't even think that Kong Shinmu would go back. Moreover, after Kong Shinmu traveled to the forest near the Demon Emperor Dragon Country, he could totally take a detour and not pass through the Demon Emperor Dragon Country. That would be the safest way, as it would not waste much time anyway. You're welcome. Since this matter is over, we'll take our leave. The Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor did not waste any time and left with the other 4 Demon Emperors after saying that to Kong Shinmu. The 5 Demon Emperors seemed to be from different places. As they flew away, they were communicating with each other about how often they would visit each other's houses. It was obvious that they were not from the same place. The Thunder Lizard Demon Emperor was from the Boundary Forest, while the other 4 Demon Emperors usually lived in other forests and were the leaders of their respective forests. They were gathered here because of Yu Yaji's appearance. Of course, they were not there to save their juniors. The Obsidian Ink Beast did not have the authority to make the 5 Demon Emperors take action, but it was a good reason. At least, Zhua Xiaofeng and He Si did not suspect anything. After Yu Yaji appeared, it was useless for them to suspect anything. The 5 Demon Emperors left. The Dragon Martial Artist Army of the Northern Chill Dragon Country all agreed to obey and were temporarily incorporated by the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. Now that there was no one strong enough to control the situation on the side of the Dragon Emperor's court, Kong Shinmu had to make the arrangements himself. After all, Kong Shinmu had a powerful woman in red behind him. Even the dean of Donghuang Yanggu College was afraid of her. Therefore, it was not wrong for the people of the Yen Dragon Emperor's court and the Northern Chill Dragon Country to listen to Kong Shinmu. As for old Xue, he made it real. He originally wanted to put on an act and see what would happen, but now he had no time to think about it. He could only choose to join the Yen Dragon Emperor's court. The situation was finally completely stabilized. 3 days later, the Yen Dragon Emperor finally appeared in the distant sky outside the Yen Dragon City with 11 Yen Dragon envoys and flew back to the Yen Dragon City quickly. At this moment, the entire Yen Dragon City was filled with excited cheers. Chapter 4371. When Dragon Emperor Yen returned, he only brought back 11 Yen Dragon envoys, including Dragon King Ming and Dragon King Kei, who were more familiar with Kong Shinmu. Kong Shinmu had never seen the Yen Dragon envoy who died in the hands of Dragon Emperor Mentor. However, after this incident, Kong Xinmu had a deep hatred for the Dragon Emperor mentor of Donghuang Yonggu College, He. Of course, the person he hated the most was Xiaofeng. This person, as the dean of Donghuang Yonggu College, actually targeted a new student like him, and even brought disaster to his hometown. "If I rise, I will definitely kill you." Kong Xinmu's eyes were filled with hatred, and it was directed at Xiaofeng. Originally, although he hated Xiaofeng, he had no enmity with him. It was just that he was forced to go to Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy. This experience was not necessarily a bad thing for his growth. But now, someone died because of him. Kong Xinmu brought Ran to attend the funeral of the Yen Dragon envoy. Dragon Emperor Yen even spent 3 days to build a burial palace for him. In front of the burial palace, Kong Xinmu swore that he would definitely kill Xiaofeng in this life. After settling down, Dragon Emperor Yen began to arrange and deal with a series of things that happened recently, including Elder Xueqi who had surrendered to him in the northern Chill Dragon country, the Dragon Martial Artist Army, and so on. Dragon Emperor Yen did not want to accept these people. After all, accepting them meant that he would have to feed them. Where would he get so many resources? Therefore they were all sent back, including old Xueqi. On one hand, he could not afford to feed them, so he did not want to waste resources. On the other hand, it was also because people who were hostile to the Dragon Emperor's country were uncomfortable in his own country. He was afraid that they would betray him one day. Instead of that, it was better to send them back directly. After all, there was no special need for them. Moreover, Kong Xinmu had already told everyone that there would soon be a new Dragon Emperor to take over the Northern Chill Dragon country. So there was no need to worry about the development of the Northern Chill Dragon country. However, the Northern Chill Dragon country would no longer be called the Northern Chill Dragon country. Heaven-opening Devil Dragon bade farewell to Kong Xinmu on the day Dragon Emperor Yen returned. He was too ashamed to stay any longer. However, Kong Xinmu had no intention of blaming him. No matter what, the Heaven-awakening Devil Dragon had helped him a lot this time. As for the reason why the Heaven-awakening Devil Dragon had wanted to capture him previously, it was because Dragon Emperor's mentor, He, had said that he had defected from Donghuang Yonggu College. It was normal for anyone to have the same thoughts as the heaven-opening demonic dragon after hearing such news. Therefore, Kong Xinmu did not blame the Heaven-awakening Devil Dragon. If the Heaven-awakening Devil Dragon wanted to leave, he would let him go directly. As for Kong Xinmu, after attending the funeral of the Yen Dragon envoy, he left for the Dragon Sealing Abyss. He wanted to try to break through to the 6th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. This was what he should have done when he returned to the Dragon Emperor dynasty. Unfortunately, Xiaofeng had interfered and wasted a lot of time. Originally, Kong Xinmu wanted to find Jiangliu Xue, Shi Yueying, and the other girls and transfer some Dragon Mark energy to them. However, when he thought of his trip and that Yu Yaji was secretly observing him, he gave up the idea. For the time being, Kong Xinmu did not want to disclose the fact that he could transfer the Dragon Mark energy to others. He especially did not want to be known by someone of Yu Yaji's level. Otherwise, no one knew what would happen. Therefore, he directly brought Ran to the vicinity of the Dragon Sealing Abyss. As for the reason why he had to break through in this place, Kong Xinmu did not tell Yu Yaji. Anyway, she did not ask. If she asked, Kong Xinmu would think of another reason to explain. It turned out that Yu Yaji really did not care about Kong Xinmu. Previously, she seemed to have some doubts as to why Kong Xinmu had to return to the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty to break through. However, now she did not ask anything. She just hid in the dark and protected Kong Xinmu. When Kong Xinmu finished his breakthrough, she would bring the two of them back. From the 5th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm to the 6th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, the strength of the Nirvana beast that I need to deal with is much stronger than before. In the snowy mountains near the Dragon Sealing Abyss, the black dragon that Kong Xinmu transformed into contended with the Nirvana beast that appeared in the sky. He found that the difficulty was much greater than before. Ran watched from the side. As for Yu Yaji, she naturally did not know where she was. When she hid, she was even more stealthy than the Nightmare Ink beast. It was impossible for anyone to find any trace of her. Otherwise, she would not have been able to successfully deceive Xiaofeng. Apart from the two of them, there was no one else in the entire world. Kong Xinmu deliberately chose to break through in an extremely remote valley near the Dragon Sealing Abyss, so that others would not see the scene of him breaking through. Although the first Nirvana beast that appeared when he broke through was very strong, it was still nothing to Kong Shinmu. What he was worried about was the second Nirvana beast that could condense his Nirvana power. Condensing Nirvana power was not a simple matter. Most of the dragon martial artists in the world could not defeat the second Nirvana beast. At this moment, Kong Shinmu wanted to break through from the 5th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm to the 6th level. He quickly used the Void Dragon Sky Raising Break with the devouring power and killed the first Nirvana beast. However, when the second Nirvana beast appeared, heaven and earth were shocked. In Kong Shinmu's senses, it was almost as strong as the Dragon King, who was at the 3rd level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. Such a terrifying power was not something that ordinary dragon martial artists could deal with. How could an ordinary 5th level Nirvana Tribulation Realm deal with a 3rd level Rebirth Tribulation Realm? Even if it was Jiang Shenwu, the pressure he felt when facing this Nirvana beast was extremely great. This was because this strength just happened to be the limit of what he could devour for his own use. If the opponent's strength was slightly stronger, then it would be very difficult for Jiang Shenwu to deal with it. Even if he could devour it for his own use, he would suffer from very serious repercussions, and it was even possible that he would directly faint. Devour. Dragon Scar Blood. The power of Kong Shinmu's Dragon Scar Blood pendant began to fuse with his own blood essence, causing the dragon blood in his body to boil. The devouring power, which was dyed red by blood, exploded with a powerful aura and devoured the violent power of the Nirvana beast. The two powers intertwined in mid-air and collided with each other, causing a wave of power ripples that caused countless people to raise their eyebrows and spread towards the distant sky. Even the dragon martial artists of the Yen Dragon Emperor, who were stationed in the dragon ceiling abyss, saw this scene. Chapter 4372. About half a day had passed. The fierce battle near the dragon ceiling abyss gradually subsided. In the valley where Kong Shinmu chose to break through, his black dragon body was already full of wounds. Many of the wounds were so deep that bones could be seen, and it would be difficult for him to recover in a short period of time. Dragon King, who was at the 3rd level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm, was an extremely powerful existence. It was extremely difficult for Kong Shinmu to defeat his opponent by himself. However, while defeating his opponent, Kong Shinmu's innate talent, Nirvana Force, was further refined. This time, Jiang Shenwu condensed and devoured the energy of Nirvana once more, and at the same time that he broke through, his strength underwent a transformation. Generally speaking, when the Rebirth Tribulation Realm increased by 1 level, the dragon martial artist's strength would increase by more than double that of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. However, this time, Kong Shinmu defeated the second Nirvana beast just like the last time. This made his Nirvana force even more refined, allowing him to break through to the 6th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. The increase in strength was much greater than the increase of 1 level in the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. The 6th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. Kong Shinmu had finally reached this level, and his current combat strength was comparable to the 4th level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm, Dragon King. He had increased by 1 level, and the experts he could deal with had also increased by 1 level. Of course, the 4th level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm was much stronger than the 3rd level. The main reason was that there would be a qualitative leap in some aspects after stepping into the middle level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. With Kong Shinmu's current strength, he could at most devour the power of the 4th level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm for his own use. This was already very terrifying. Of course, the pressure was a little too great. If it took too long, or if the opponent continued to erupt, Kong Shinmu would not be able to withstand it. Therefore, it could only be said that Kong Shinmu's strength was between the 3rd and 4th level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. Moreover, if he encountered some stronger 3rd level Rebirth Tribulation Realm experts, he would not be a match for them. At the same cultivation level, there was a difference in strength. If he encountered a student from the Dragon Martial Academy, he might only be able to deal with the Dragon King, who was at the 1st level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. Of course, not all the students from the Dragon Martial Academy were very powerful. Originally, my strength was about the same as the students of Yuhing District. But now that I've broken through to the next level, my strength has increased by a lot. I should be able to barely reach the standard of the Migres area students. After all, the grade of Kong Shinmu's divine dragon blood was not high. It was only at the 3rd level of the Dragon King's blood. The difference between him and the other students of the Dragon Martial Academy was too great. After the breakthrough, Kong Shinmu stayed in the valley to recuperate for 2 hours. Even with the recovery speed of his Dark Dragon Filth Mastery, it still took him 4 hours to recover. It was clear that his injuries were quite severe. When he was fighting the second Nirvana beast, Kong Shinmu felt that he had too few tricks up his sleeves. He could only rely on the devouring Nirvana force that was fused with the power of the dragon Scarblood. Even his offensive dragon martial skill was only the Void Dragon Sky Raising Break. I still miss the way I fought in the past. As long as I can injure my opponent, I can endlessly devour their flesh and blood essence. It's a pity that I can't do that now. If the Black Dragon's consciousness awakens, I'll be finished. Kong Shinmu shook his head. After he had fully recovered, he stood up and planned to leave this place. The strength of the second Nirvana beast is much stronger than before. I'm afraid I won't have the chance to condense Nirvana force the next time I break through to the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. Kong Shinmu felt that he would not be able to kill the second Nirvana beast the next time. But no matter what, he had to give it a try and work hard. Whether he could kill the second Nirvana beast or not, the difference in strength was too great. If Kong Shinmu had not condensed Nirvana force during his 2 breakthroughs, he would have died if he met the Dragon King who was at the 3rd level of the Rebirth Tribulation Realm. This was the difference. Otherwise, how could he be so much stronger than the other dragon martial artists of the same level? It was impossible to reach such a level just by devouring Nirvana force. When Kong Shinmu had rested and was ready to leave, the beautiful Dean Yu Yaji, who was dressed in red, finally walked out from the void at the side. She admired Kong Shinmu now and nodded her head in satisfaction. Your talent is not bad, it's even comparable to mine when I was young. If you continue to improve at this level, it won't be difficult for you to surpass Xueqi. Of course, the subsequent breakthroughs will be even more difficult. After all, you have condensed Nirvana force. You have to be careful when you break through to the 7th level of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. If you still want to condense Nirvana force and challenge the second Nirvana beast, pay attention to improving your combat strength during this period of time. Especially in terms of the dragon martial arts, you have only grasped a beginner source of dragon martial arts to attack your opponent. You are lacking in techniques. Of course, your defensive and recovery techniques are not bad. Dark Dragon Imperial Filth Technique is the high-grade source of dragon martial arts from the Northern Wilderness Dragon Martial Academy. Although I don't know how you learned it, if you can cultivate this dragon martial arts to a higher level, it will be of great help to your next breakthrough. Yu Yaji's words could be considered as pointers to Kong Shinmu. He did not have a mentor in the Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy and did not receive any pointers. However, what Yu Yaji said today was of great help to Kong Shinmu. In the past, when he was in Donghuang Yonggu College, Kong Shinmu would occasionally ask Chu Yueqiang for advice. Chu Yueqiang would also answer his questions seriously and in detail, solving many of his problems. However, Chu Yueqiang's level was slightly lower than Yu Yaji's. The things that she explained were still more useful. The main reason was that Yu Yaji was at the same level as Kong Shinmu. She had once defeated the second Nirvana beast and condensed Nirvana force. After all, Yu Yaji had the same level of talent as Kong Shinmu. She had experienced many things, so her explanations were of greater help to Kong Shinmu. Thank you for your pointers, Senior. Kong Shinmu was very grateful to Yu Yaji. Regardless of whether it was in terms of cultivation or other aspects, she had been of great help to him. You're welcome. Yu Yaji smiled faintly. The stronger you are, the more help you will be to the Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy. The exchange between the 4 academies that happens once every 10 years is your stage. As long as you perform well, it will be the greatest mockery to Xueqi. The more outstanding you are, the more uncomfortable Xueqi will feel. Xueqi's days will come to an end when you are so outstanding that you can shock everyone. The Dragon of Calamity of the Clear Sky will definitely not let him off easily. He actually personally sent a genius dragon martial artist like you to our Emperor Shi. Yu Yaji felt that this was a little funny. She sized up Kong Shinmu and felt that Kong Shinmu's talent seemed to be stronger than hers back then. She was not sure now, but this did not mean that Kong Shinmu would definitely rise. After she became a student of the Emperor Shi Dragon Martial Academy, she had seen many amazing and peerless geniuses. There were even some who were comparable to Kong Shinmu, but none of them made it to the end. Geniuses were only strong when they grew up. Chapter 4373. After breaking through to the 6th tier of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, Kong Shin-mu felt refreshed. After all, this meant that his cultivation had reached a new height. However, he knew that his current level was nothing. He needed to work harder. Then, Yu Yaji took him and ran through the void and returned to Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Arts Academy in the west. When he reappeared near Emperor Shi's formation, Kong Shin-mu felt as if he had been in another world. Many things had happened during his return to the Dragon Emperor court. The most important thing was that he saw Zhou Xiaofeng suffer a setback. He also learned that Emperor Shi's dean's name was Yu Yaji, and Yu Tianchong was her sister's daughter. Of course, knowing this was of little use to Kong Shin-mu. His next task was even more arduous because he needed to consider the difficulty of defeating the second Nirvana beast when breaking through to the 7th tier of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. Therefore, he had to improve his strength as quickly as possible during this period of time. Resources were strength. As long as Kong Shin-mu had enough experience points, he could exchange for advanced Source Dragon martial arts techniques to enhance his strength. At the same time, he could continue to cultivate the Dark Dragon Filth controlling skill. Although he had played a big role in cultivating this dragon martial arts technique, he had never broken through to a higher level. At the current stage, the effect of his Dark Dragon Filth controlling skill was still much worse than Ran's. Kong Shin-mu's recovery ability mainly relied on devouring. However, if he cultivated the Dark Dragon Filth controlling skill to a higher level, Kong Shin-mu would recover quickly in battle and would not even need to rely on devouring power. Moreover, the effect would definitely be better when the two were combined. Let's devour some Dragon Mark energy first. Kong Shin-mu thought to himself. The Dragon Mark energy could improve the level of his Divine Dragon Blood Essence. Although the effect of upgrading one level at the Dragon King stage was not great, if he upgraded several levels in a row, it would add up to a considerable amount. Upgrading the Dragon King's Blood Essence by about 3 levels was equivalent to breaking through one level in the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. So Kong Shin-mu still planned to devour the Dragon Mark's energy when he was free. With the Dragon Mark Blood Pendant as a cover, Kong Shin-mu became much bolder when he swallowed the energy of the Dragon Mark. With a speed 10 times that of a normal student, he swallowed the energy of the Dragon Mark into his body. Moreover, he had stored quite a lot of them, and he had originally planned to pass them on to Zhang Liuxue, Shi Yueying, and the other women. Now that he didn't have the chance to do so, he used them to improve himself. During this period of time, Kong Shin-mu did not go out to complete any training missions, nor did he have any plans to go to the Beast Abyss. After all, the commotion he caused in the Beast Abyss last time had not died down yet. If he went now and encountered any danger, it would be terrible. Therefore, Kong Shin-mu decided to improve his strength first. From the 3rd grade of the Dragon King's Blood Essence, to the 4th grade, and then to the 5th grade. In the short span of half a month, Kong Shin-mu directly broke through the grade of his Divine Dragon Blood Essence by 2 grades. When he appeared in front of the public again, everyone was shocked. At this speed, if Kong Shin-mu wanted to reach the level of the Dragon Emperor, it wouldn't take more than a few years. Of course, this was also because the first 5 grades of the Dragon King were still relatively easy to improve. After reaching the 5th grade, the amount of Dragon Mark energy required for each grade increase was several times that of the previous grade. In other words, if Kong Shin-mu broke through to the 5th grade of the Dragon King, it was practically the limit for him to improve his strength as quickly as possible. If he wanted to swallow the energy of the Dragon Mark and raise his Divine Dragon Blood Essence to the 6th grade of the Dragon King, even if it was Kong Shin-mu, he would need to spend at least a month. Moreover, the increase in strength was not very obvious. I'll think about the rest later. When the time is right, it's better to break through to the Dragon Emperor in one go. Even if it takes half a year, it's worth it. As for now, there are other ways to improve my strength faster. If the Dragon Warrior's Divine Dragon Blood Essence broke through from the Dragon King to the Dragon Emperor, then the Nirvana beast he encountered would also have a qualitative improvement in strength. Therefore, it was impossible for Kong Shin-mu to break through to the Dragon Emperor now. Although it would increase his strength, it would make it almost impossible for him to defeat the second Nirvana beast, and he would lose the opportunity to condense Nirvana energy. If he lost this opportunity, it would mean that he would lose the possibility of becoming stronger for the rest of his life. Therefore, Kong Shin-mu must seize this opportunity to become stronger in other aspects. Only then could he safely break through to the level of the Divine Dragon Blood Essence of the Dragon Emperor. Imagine, if Kong Shinmu cultivated many high-level origin source dragon martial skills, then his strength would definitely be more than a few times stronger than it was now. By then, it would not matter if he broke through to the Dragon Emperor level, because he could completely defeat the Nirvana Beast of that level, or even the second Nirvana Beast. In the future, the rebirth energy would also need to be condensed, and the conditions to condense the rebirth energy would be even more stringent. Currently, Kong Shinmu had not come into contact with it, but he knew that he had to first build a good foundation, or else the road ahead would become more and more difficult. The better the foundation, the easier the road ahead would be. High-level origin source dragon martial skills. I already have the Dark Dragon Imperial Filth technique for recovery. I still need to cultivate the body-refining dragon martial skills, attack-type dragon martial skills, body-type dragon martial skills. After cultivating all of them, I will be able to reach the strongest dragon martial skills. Of course, I'm afraid none of the students in the 4 dragon martial academies can achieve this condition. After all, after obtaining the dragon martial skills, I have to cultivate them to the highest heaven grade, especially the high-level origin source dragon martial skills. It is not that easy to cultivate them to the heaven grade. Kong Shinmu sighed. It seemed like he could only take it one step at a time. After spending half a month to raise the grade of his divine dragon blood to the 5th level of the Dragon King, he walked out of his palace, planning to head to the Beast Abyss again. If he had just broken through and returned to Emperor Shi's Dragon Martial Academy, it would still be a little difficult for him to deal with the 4th level Rebirth Tribulation Dragon King and Demon King. But now, he was much more confident in dealing with opponents of this level. This time, Kong Shinmu headed to the Beast Abyss alone. He did not intend to expose some of his secrets to others. Moreover, the Beast Abyss was basically a place that only students of the Dragon Emperor level had the right to visit. As for the Dragon King students, they were basically just followers. It was useless for Kong Shinmu to bring a bunch of Dragon King in. They would only be adding to the trouble. This time, I should earn enough experience points and cultivate the chaotic dragon body to the heaven grade. Kong Shinmu planned to cultivate his only body-refining dragon martial skill, the chaotic dragon body, to the highest level. This would allow his ability to resist attacks to reach a higher level. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.